quoting, Bible reading, God believing, truth speaking, American. This MAGA season, Democrats committing treason. I know they think it's sweet, but you don't know who you dealing with. This for free thinkers only. You ain't got no membership. They free. General Flynn out the cage, cause he innocent. Barton Roger Stone, cause the run know that he innocent. We need to kick out every single illegal immigrant. Mandatory voter ID laws we need to implement.
I'm thrilled to be back in this beautiful Commonwealth at the legendary Mon Valley Works urban plant with the proud Pennsylvania patriots who are the heart and soul of U.S. Steel. A strong steel industry is not just a matter of dignity or prosperity and pride. It's above all a matter of national security. We're here today to celebrate a blockbuster agreement that will ensure this storied American company stays an American company. We're going to stay an American company. The golden age of America has only just begun, and together we are going to make America great again, greater than ever before. With the help of patriots like you, we're going to produce our own metal, unleash our own energy, secure our own future, build our country, control our destiny, and we are once again going to put Pennsylvania steel into the backbone of America like never before.
All right. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Unrelenting Political Corner. How's it going, everyone? Hi, Jimmy.
Good evening, Ruby. How are you doing this evening?
Doing good.
All right,
Flight.
so we need to go ahead and address the elephant in the room while everybody's logging in. Let's go ahead and tell them about your sunglasses before everybody starts asking.
Yeah, so life hack. I suffer from a lot of migraines, and this is the week, especially with the weather. Every single time it rains and there's a storm, and that's the season right now in Florida, I get migraines almost every single day. But the show must go on, and I'm not going to compromise on my lighting situation. So I said, let me just put some sunglasses on so I don't have to bother my eyes, and it's just going to have to work like this.
No, she's not being abused or anything like that.
I took them off just for Jimmy so that no rumors could start swirling.
Yeah, exactly. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the show. Thank y'all for joining. Go ahead and share the program, on your social media if you want others to see it. It's been a crazy week. It really has. And I've already seen somebody in the chat say something about Enoch taking a week off. Yes, so tonight there is no news blast because Enoch is apparently doing some type of MAGA palooza down south, and he's from Michigan, so he's traveling down south. So he's done no news blast. So hopefully he'll be back on track next week, and so we can get back to doing some news blast. Or I may try to find somebody else that's doing something similar. But Enoch's great. I love the news blast, and I was disappointed when I looked this evening and I was like, crap, there's no news blast. So, but we still got information for you, so don't worry about that.
Oh, yeah. I mean, we have enough news. Enough this past week. Has been crazy. So don't worry. We are going to definitely get into it. And that'll leave us also more time for anybody who wants to hop on and give us your perspective, your opinions about what has been happening recently. I know a lot of people are going to be opinionated, and that's a good thing. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's time to get real. And I have a big announcement too. I told Jimmy.
What's your announcement? What's your big announcement?
Everybody, are you ready for my big announcement? Let me know in the chat if you're here. Come in the chat right now and let me know if you're sitting down, because I have a huge announcement to make. Make sure you're sitting down so that your knees don't buckle when I give you this news. But I have big news.
I'm all ears.
All right, guys. The big news And I don't know if this might be a shock or a surprise or whatever. I don't care. But I am here tonight to let everybody know that I am stepping off the Trump train. I am done with Trump. And that might be surprising for some of you guys because a lot of people take me for a MAGA or a Trump supporter or whatever. You know what I'm saying? People are going to come up with their own stuff. But I am here to tell you that for certainty today, as I am feeling today, I'm done with him. I'm angry and I disagree with 100% of the things that has been happening this past week. So yeah, the real love says what? Jane says, Ruby, what did you say? What?
Let's just say this too. There's a lot of people that have been feeling similar. There's a lot of people that are on X that were supporting Trump and they are turning against him. And there's a lot of other influencers out there, a lot of digital soldiers, just saying what they're saying is that a lot of these folks that were, quote, on the Trump train are being exposed and for what they really are. So, and as we've seen through the progression of the show, my views have changed on some things. Ruby's views have changed on some things, and it's still an evolving process. So I'm just saying she may feel that way now, but who knows? Things could change. You never know. But
oh yeah, we're gonna talk about the reasons why because it's literally everything that has been happening in the news this past week. I mean, I did write it in the title: "No King's Protest, the Military Parade, Israel versus Iran, and more." I mean, Trump. If you've been paying attention, and if you've been paying attention to my show, you guys already know majority of my politics and my stances. And what Trump has been saying recently has been 100% like against those things, and I'm upset. And I've told you guys from day one that every single time I disagree with Trump, I will say it and I will be upfront about it. And this was the week, like, I'm done. I think I'm gonna switch my party, and I think I'm done with it. You know what I'm saying? You guys have seen me evolve for the past year of the political corner, like the whole entire show. You've seen the evolution happen, and tonight is one of those nights where I'm done with him. If Trump doesn't back from these certain things that we'll bring up in a bit, then I'm not getting back on. I will not support Trump, and I'm just not. It goes against America first, in my opinion, and I cannot support the things that he's been saying this past week.
And for the record, I'm still on it, so I'm not getting off for anytime. Yeah, I'm not getting off anytime soon. I'm still on the Trump train.
Well, I'm sorry, I have to
I'm
step
still
off.
there. So, hey, that's cool, and that's the thing. Everybody has the right to change their minds about stuff. They can change their views about stuff, as they get information, and there's nothing wrong with that at all.
Yeah, you see, Jay says Trump got bought. He's been bought since before the election. In my opinion, he's taken money, especially from AIPAC, and we already spoke about this. And I knew that, but I was still on the train because I still believed and I had faith that Trump was more America first than he was for anything else, bought or not bought. But the things that he's been saying, we're going to get into it. I'm sorry. He's just not the guy for me. And I do want, I'm not saying like I'm 100% against him because I know that he was the only good option at the moment that we can choose from. But I deep down inside, I know that our guy is coming. You know what I'm saying? He's coming, and that person who's truly America first will run for president one day, and I will support that candidate. But for right now, Trump's not it.
Damn, are you already announcing my run for president in 2028?
Hey, if you ran for any office, I would be right there.
I'm just kidding. No, I'm just kidding.
No, for real, because Dehydrated Nurse says we are not in the Trump cult. We have the right to disagree. I don't agree with Macy all the time either. But you see, Thomas Macy is more on the America First agenda than Trump, and that's what I'm pretty upset about. Like, he's the only congressman that I agree with more than I agree with the president, and I wish it was the other way around. It should be the president who is more about us, about putting Americans first than anything else.
That's fair. That's fair.
But I guess we'll
So
see.
I guess what I'd like to do, I guess we can get right into some information real quick. I had told Ruby before we got on the stream tonight that I wanted to pull some information that I had from the big picture and that I went over. Now, I know there's a lot of people that watch this show that haven't seen any of the big picture episodes. So we pulled the 16-year plan. We pulled in, last week we talked about color revolution and the reason that takes place and how that operates. So this week, I've got two things. Ever since we started, I came up with another one, Ruby. So I wanted to explain crisis actors and information warfare. And the reason why is because of the No Kings protest. All these different protests we see, a lot of people think they're organic. They're not organic. I'll just go ahead and let you know now, they're not organic. These things are organized, they are coordinated, and they're bought and paid for. Okay. So there's that. And then the other reason I wanted to go over the information warfare stuff is because there is tons of information floating out there right now that has people's heads spinning. And so, I just want to make people aware of this stuff. And also, too, I pulled the information from Wikipedia. We already know how I feel about Wikipedia, but for the normies, that's the reason why I pull it from here. Because if I pull it from some right-wing article or whatever, they're going to lambast me and say, oh, Jimmy's just pulling that from, the right wing, blah, 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 blah. So I'm pulling it from Wikipedia. That way nobody can say shit to me. So, so anyway, you may go ahead and do this real quick.
Yes. I mean, do you want your little intro or do you want to just jump?
Yeah, we can skip the intro because it's not technically the news blast. But did you want to address, say hey to the folks in the comments? We haven't really done that yet.
Oh, sure. I think most of the gang is here tonight. Jay is here tonight. Illegal immigrant, dehydrated nurse, John Marciano, Justin from California, our favorite troll, Jeff Windy. That's the neutral. I mean, Mr. M kind of took a break from us. I think he got a little sick and tired that I was on the MAGA train, I guess, and he wanted me to wake up. And I guess he missed the big announcement tonight because I'm done with him. I'm sorry.
I'm gonna tell you now. This is just me foreseeing the future. We'll see how it happens. But first, I think you'll change your mind later.
This is the problem. I love Trump. He was the best option that I could, with my conscience, vote for. But since the beginning, he was never the guy. You know what I'm saying? Like the person that I wanted, the ideal person that I wanted.
Yeah,
but
because you like some of the third party candidates.
Exactly, which is why I was like, damn, like I felt like I should have just went with my gut, switched to my party, and voted for Randall Terry. And if you've seen me in those past streams, I've said those things, how much I've liked the guy, how much I felt like I agreed with more of the values of the Constitution Party. And that's why I felt like I cannot call myself a Republican. I can't, I'm not one. You know what I'm saying? Like it was very conflicting, but that election was very stressful. And I was like, I need to vote for Trump. Right. So I think the fear, the stress of that election, it pushed me to vote for Trump. But in reality, I never really wanted, it's just hard to explain. But anyway,
yeah, I understand. Yeah. I understand. And
okay, good.
Totally respect your opinion on this and decision on this.
Yeah. So we're gonna, let me see.
Doesn't mean I'm just gonna throw off and go F this show and just leave. That's not happening.
No, of course not. Hi to Roy in the chat. A new name that I see in the chat. And Steen says, I missed the train altogether. Listen, that train was moving fast. And I felt like I need to get on this because I don't want to regret not voting for Trump and then he loses. You know what I'm saying? Like that was the fear. I felt like I had to vote for him. Like it was a life or death situation. And it feels like every election is like that. And I'm sick and tired of that too. So, anyways, I'm gonna explain more in detail after Jimmy gives his information. We're gonna explain more in detail. So,
All
go
right.
ahead, Jimmy.
And I'll have about, of course, about 9:25, 9:30. I have to say bye to my wife. So I'll step out for a second. So let's go ahead and look over the definition for information warfare. If you've been following me on Facebook and watched the show, you know that I have said that we've already been in World War III for a while now. And it is an information war. It's not a shooting war. And you can tell that there's entities out there that have been trying to suppress information. That is why a lot of us got censored. That's why a lot of us got kicked off of Facebook, because they did not want information getting out. And so this is what Wikipedia's definition for information warfare is. Information warfare, as different from cyber warfare that attacks computers, software, and command control systems, is a concept involving the battle space use and management of information and communication technology. In parentheses, that would be ICT. So I'll mention that later so you'll know what ICT is. Information and communication technology. In pursuit of a competitive advantage over an opponent. Information warfare is the manipulation of information trusted by a target without the target's awareness, so that the target will make decisions against their interest, but in the interest of the ones conducting the information warfare. As a result, it is not clear when information warfare begins, ends, and how strong or destructive it is. Information warfare may involve the collection of tactical information assurance that one's information is valid, spreading of propaganda or disinformation to demoralize or manipulate the enemy and the public. Undermining the quality of the opposing force's information and denial of information collection opportunities to opposing forces. Information warfare is closely linked to psychological warfare. And so if you were a JW, then you know about psychological warfare. The United States military focus tends to favor technology and hence tends to extend into the realms of electronic warfare, cyber warfare, information assurance, and computer network operations, attack, and defense. Most of the rest of the world use the much broader term of information operations, which, although make use of technology, focuses on the more human-related aspects of information use, including social network analysis, decision analysis, and the human aspects of command and control. So here's an overview. Information war has been described as the use of information to achieve our national objectives. According to NATO, and we know how I feel about NATO, information war is an operation conducted in order to gain an information advantage over the opponent. Information warfare can take many forms. Bullet point: television, internet, and radio transmissions can be jammed. Television, internet, and radio transmissions can be hijacked for a disinformation campaign. Logistic networks can be disabled. Enemy communication networks can be disabled or spoofed, especially online social community in modern days. Stock exchange transactions can be sabotaged, either with electronic intervention, by leaking sensitive information, or by placing disinformation. The use of drones and other surveillance robots or webcams, communication management, and synthetic media. The U.S. Air Force has had information warfare squadrons since the 1980s. In fact, the official mission of the United States Air Force is now to fly, fight, and win in air, space, and cyberspace, with the latter referring to its information warfare role. As the United States Air Force often risks aircraft and air crews to attack strategic enemy communication targets, Remotely disabling such targets using software and other means can provide a safer alternative. In addition, disabling such networks electronically instead of explosively also allows them to be quickly re-enabled after the enemy territory is occupied. Similarly, counter-information warfare units are employed to deny such capability to the enemy. The first application of these techniques was used against Iraqi communication networks in the Gulf War. Also, during the Gulf War, Dutch hackers allegedly stole information about U.S. troop movements from U.S. Defense Department computers and tried to sell it to the Iraqis, who thought it was a hoax and turned it down. In January of 1999, U.S. air intelligence computers were hit by a coordinated attack, Moonlight Maze, part of which came from a Russian mainframe. This cannot be confirmed as a Russian cyber attack due to a non-attribution. The principle that online entity may not serve as proof of real-world identity. Let me repeat that. The principle that online identity may not serve as proof of real-world identity. That's important. So that is the definition, according to Wikipedia, of what information warfare is. And the reason I put that, I wanted to bring that out, is because there's a lot of information being put out on the mainstream media and in social media accounts that fit that description. And that's why we always say, or I know I always say, you need to verify these stories. And I put a post up last night on my Facebook page to quit reacting emotionally. Too many people are reacting emotionally to all this information come out. You got to step back and realize there's deeper issues here. There's something else going on. Mm-hmm. And that's why I put a post up last night with a guy sleeping on his pillow, and I said, this is how I sleep, knowing and not falling for every psyop narrative out there. So
yeah, I saw that.
Yeah. So I'm not even stressed about it. I know everybody's been up in arms this past week, but I'm just like, okay, yeah, we saw this coming.
Right.
And I put proof of that up on my Facebook that we saw the Iran-Israel thing coming. So I'm not surprised.
Oh my God. Just wait till we get to that section, because I'm pissed. I am so angry about everything. That's why I'm taking a break from the movement, because I need to. I'm not okay. I don't want this to sound the wrong way, but I am not hearing what I need to be hearing from this administration right now. You know what I'm saying? And I don't want to make it seem like they have to be saying the right things all the time. I know that that's not going to happen.
Right.
But when it comes to serious things like this, I was expecting Trump to be Trump, and I feel like it's not him speaking. I feel like he is being paid to say something else, and that's what gets me upset, because we ran on certain values that in this moment would have been the moment for him to prove that what he said was truth. You know, like that he meant what he meant.
I can understand where you're coming from. And the reason I can say that is because during 2020, and yeah, basically during 2020, during the rallies and everything, there was a certain subject that I had already looked into, and I was like, yeah, I'm not for that. And it was the whole jabby jab thing. Right. And, you know, Trump was talking about it at his rallies. And I was sitting there like, Trump, quit talking about that, you know? Mm-hmm. But then, I was getting a little frustrated with it. I'm like, why does he keep bringing that up? But then after I kept digging on stuff and realizing what was happening there and why certain things were being said, I came to the realization, I'm like, oh, that's what he was doing. So that was my take on that situation, even though I didn't agree with what he was saying. And it was actually helpful because, you know, a lot of people would say, oh, well, you're in a Trump cult. Da, 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 da. Well, if you're in a cult, you're going to completely agree with whatever the leader is saying of that cult. Question.
Right.
Yeah, without question. So if I was questioning Trump about something or some of his actions or whatever, that proves right there that I'm not in a freaking Trump cult.
Right, right. And I get that. But I don't think that I'm questioning right now. I'm putting my foot down and saying no, he's wrong on this. You know what I'm saying? Like
Mhm.
and if he was truly America first, like he claimed he was, then
Mhm.
he wouldn't be saying this. So that's where we disagree. And we're at that fork in the road where as a voter, as a citizen, as someone who speaks about Trump in a good light. Like I was a supporter of some sort. Like I wasn't 100% even from the beginning, but I leaned this way.
Right.
Now is when I say no. What he just said right here is an absolute no for me. So that's what we're gonna, I'm gonna share.
Yeah. And one thing that people have to realize is, you know, we don't need to look at a certain individual as being the savior of our country. I've never looked at Trump that way
Me neither.
because
Yeah. Mm-mm.
because it is the people's responsibility. It's the citizens' responsibility to save our country. And
Right.
unfortunately, there's too many people out there in this country that are just sitting on their hands with their head buried in the sand and not getting involved at all and just waiting for some politician or world leader to come in and fix everything. That there are people waiting on that.
Right.
But we have to do our own due diligence to win back our country because it's our responsibility to do that.
Yeah, and it is also our responsibility that when our whoever the president is does something that the people are against, we need to protest that. We need to let them know when we do not agree with something, and it
Yeah.
has happened before. A lot of anti-war protests have been, even before I was born, where they
Yep.
really believe that the president was wrong in this, that you bring the troop back, or whatever it may be. So that's where I'm at right now. I'm like, no, I completely disagree with this. And even if he does go along with it as the president, I can't do nothing about that because he
Right.
already is the president. And if it's legal for him to do so, or if he signs a bill that I disagree with, he's gonna sign it regardless whether I like it or not. But we have the power to voice those disagreements and to pull back our support when we need to, because that's the right thing to do. And it's okay to be honest about that. That's why I'm going to showcase that tonight.
Yeah, too many people forgot how to fight for their freedom because freedom does not come. They're not just going to give it to you.
Right.
You know, you got to fight for your freedoms. And unfortunately, the average United States citizen has forgot how to fight for their freedoms because we've had it so, I'll put it in quotes, because we've had it so good for so long. Okay. You can argue that or question that. But most people feel like, as long as like there's a guy, he comes on here towards the end of the show, Marcus Julian. He says, as long as you've got football, gambling, beer, movies, celebrities, people don't care.
Exactly. That's the problem. Mhm.
But we're getting to a point where we're just about at the precipice and people are going to have to make a decision on whether they want to fight for the country or sit on their hands.
Exactly. So that's where we're at right now. And I don't know. Jimmy thinks I might change. Let's see in the future. I mean, if I start hearing good things again, I might get back on that train. But right now,
Let me go ahead and write this down. What's today's date? June 6th.
today's
June,
day,
June
2025.
16th. I told Ruby she would change her mind eventually. We'll see. I'm writing it down.
To make me laugh.
I've literally written it down on my little pad here. So, all right. So let me go check on my wife real quick. Y'all can have open discussion. I'll be back, and then we'll do crisis actors, and then we'll get into more stuff. What you have?
Okay, cool. So
All
I'll
right.
bring you back to stage when you come back.
You guys.
All right. All right, guys. So it's just me right now. We're gonna wait for Jimmy to come back. I'm gonna read your comments though. The deep dive. Welcome to the chat. You're over there laughing. Jeff Windy says if he runs in 2028, I'll vote Kanye West. Absolutely not. Joseph says Tulsi Gabbard had intelligence that Iran didn't have nuclear weapons, but Trump was dealing with neocons in his cabinet who pro-Israel, or I should say the Zionists. Yeah, exactly. Which I'm totally against, but you guys already know that if you've been watching long enough. You guys know. John Marciano says Jimmy has points. He's right on this. All right. I'm scrolling up. The deep dive says, good for you, Ruby. Proud of you. Yeah, we're gonna really dive into the details of why I'm feeling the way I'm feeling, and let me know if you guys feel the exact same way too. I'm gonna put the link out. People can join the stage. I recently started joining the live chat section of Diaz's. He has his own YouTube channel. And he goes live. I don't know if it's almost every night or something, but I've joined a couple of nights. And tonight he's getting political. So of course, you already know I joined the chat. I started, Twitter fingers came out. But I told him I really want him to come back on the show because there's just too many ideas that I have. I just can't type them all out. So one of these days, the SS is going to come back. I hope I'm pronouncing his name correctly. But he is going to come back, and we're going to definitely recap all of these conversations and bring it back up because, man, there's a lot of things changing. Let me see. Let's see. Lisa. Hi, Lisa. Tulsi as DNI was not invited to Camp David, but was in the meeting today. Okay, interesting. Steen says Iran doesn't have nuclear weapons, but a nuclear program to develop them, and they will use them. I mean, how many years have we been hearing stuff like this? I don't know. Like when I, as a young person, look into history, those things have been said for way like 30 something years. You know what I'm saying? Like how many times is this going to be said? Like Jay even said it in the chat. It's like 9/11 WMDs all over again, but it's just with Iran now. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know. I hope you guys can join the show and give me your thoughts about this whole, Israel versus Iran. I mean, it's gonna get nasty in a few minutes. Dallas, hi Dallas. He says don't like the Zionists because of their evil, because it's all loyalty to the party or to the state or whatever they call it. I don't know. But yeah, I agree. Hi Jane. Jane says Iran and Israel using drones and planes and fighting now. Yeah. It's been going on for what, like 4 or 5 days now? Steen says, yeah, I've been hearing that forever. You are right, Ruby. Same as Iraq. Lie, maybe. Yeah, it's just like, how many more times are we going to be hearing this? This is the same old playbook that they use to get us involved. And that's exactly what I've said from day one. We should not be getting involved into any foreign, disputes or anything like that. Okay, I think Jimmy's back. Hi, Jimmy.
Hello. Did I miss anything?
I mean, not that much. I was just getting into the chat, and just to let you know, if my voice fluctuates or whatever, it's because my head is pounding, so I have to tone it down a little.
Okay.
But you guys are fine. I got my volume all the way down. You guys can, oh, I'm your daddy. Came listen to your daddy. Stick around because I am so upset with you right now. No, I'm just kidding. Listen, I am done. Oh, welcome, Raul Havana. Welcome to the chat. Trump 2028. Nah, I'm sorry. I mean, with the way he's going, I'm sorry. I'm jumping off the train right now, and we're gonna talk about it.
I hate to giggle. I'm sorry. I've seen this happen before, and I've seen people, change course again. So I foresee it happen.
I will change course if he changes course. Okay, if Trump turns around and says the right things or does the right thing, I don't care about what he says. He needs to do the right thing. Then I will bring back my support.
Okay. All right. Let's just put a pin in that, and I'll just, like I said, I wrote it down.
Yeah. And for legitimate reasons too, and we'll get into that. But Jimmy has another piece of information that he wants to share with us, and then I'll do the intro to get unpopular and we'll
get into stuff. All right, so I wanted to talk about crisis actors because there's been a lot of times there's been a shooting or there's been an event, and you'll see a picture of somebody at all these events, and they might have spanned 11 years, and the same person shows up in all these pictures. It's out there, it's real, it exists. We've also seen, and now I've not personally seen any of these, but there is information out there that they put wanted ads in newspapers or social media platforms saying, hey, if you're an actor, show up here, blah, 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 crisis actors wanted, and if it wasn't a real thing, then I don't think Wikipedia would have talked about it. So let's dive into crisis actors and the definition of crisis actors according to Wikipedia. A crisis actor is a trained actor, role player, volunteer, or other person engaged to portray a disaster victim during emergency drills to train first responders such as police, firefighters, and EMS personnel. Now, that's what they're saying that they are. They're saying that they're there to help the firefighters, first responders, and police for training purposes. I don't buy that one bit. I mean, I'm not saying it doesn't exist. I'm just saying it's not, I don't think it's the full story there. Crisis actors are used to create high fidelity simulations of disasters in order to allow first responders to practice their skills and help emergency service organizations to prepare and train in realistic scenarios as part of a full-scale disaster exercise. Okay, whatever. Disaster training simulations. Actors take on the role of mock victims and simulate specific injuries from a disaster to add lifelike realism to an emergency exercise. Theatrical makeup and cosmetics, plus rubber and latex appliances and masks, are often used to simulate a variety of wounds or medical conditions that realistically portray victims' injuries, a practice known as medical moulage. Actors who portray news reporters, relatives of victims, and concerned citizens are also used during drills to train emergency operations center personnel to cope with a variety of emotionally charged demands and requests. All right, then it has the subheading conspiracy theories and defamation. In the United States, the term has been used by conspiracy theorists who falsely claim that mass shootings and other disasters are staged, and victims and their families are being played by crisis actors in order to pass gun control laws. Okay, so my question to Wikipedia is why they say gun control laws? Why they put that in there?
Yeah, they're setting you up to believe that narrative as if the two are
connected.
together. Like, like why would you connect those two? Yeah. Exactly.
Why would you even say that? All right. This is why I'm not a big fan of Wikipedia. Conspiracy theorists' use of the term is thought to have originated in 2012 when a blog post by former professor and professional conspiracy theorist James Tracy suggested that the government could have hired an acting agency named Vision Box to help stage the Sandy Hook Elementary School shooting. Vision Box offered dramatic training in criminal and victim behavior to actors intended to help bring intense realism to simulated mass casualty incidents in public places. Tracy also promoted a crisis actor conspiracy theory of the Boston Marathon bombing. Conspiracy theorists have falsely claimed such attacks are false flag operations staged by conspirators, usually government or corporate forces, in order to achieve some goal, such as justifying increased government surveillance, disarmament of the population, or military action against blamed nations or groups. Wow, they're really going out here on this one. Crisis actors are claimed in this context to play the part of bystanders or witnesses, emergency response personnel, and with the aid of stage makeup, wounded victims of the attack. Advocates of the conspiracy theory include Alex Jones and outlets such as The True Pundit. In April of 2018, the parents of 2 children killed in the Sandy Hook shooting launched a lawsuit against Jones for defamation, accusing him and his website InfoWars of engaging in a campaign of false, cruel, and dangerous assertions. In November 2021, Jones was found liable by default under failing to provide documents to the court. He was announced he will appeal this decision. So that is Wikipedia's definition of what a crisis actor is. Love to see what you folks think about that. I've seen way too many of it, especially during CV. You know, they would show like people in body bags. And then there was one video where there was a guy smoking a cigarette outside of his body bag. He was like laying in his body bag smoking a cigarette. And then he put it out and went back in there. That was just one thing I saw. I believe that crisis actors are real. And I believe that they're being paid by George Soros and his foundations and other organizations, such as the 198 organizations that tried to, or that coordinated the No Kings protests.
Okay.
And so, I mean, think about it. If these things were organic, why were there bricks already out there? Why were there signs already? The signs are already made up. I believe that these things are completely coordinated and paid for. So that's my little spiel on the crisis act.
Okay. So you think that they are like paid to do that? But
absolutely.
Do you think it's just from those outside organizations, or do you think it's also from the government?
Oh, I think there's people inside the government that are helping these organizations fund these things and coordinate them. And when I say the government, I'm talking about the deep state apparatus of the government.
Okay. All right. Okay. Well, I mean, that was great information. I mean, I believe in those things already, so it's not like shocking to kind of hear that. You know, my uncle was on top of that, especially when Sandy Hook happened. He would always say stuff like that, like, oh, it's fake, you know, they're actors, they're getting paid, you know, people are crying on TV to stir up emotions in the people that are watching the news, and they don't, you know, I mean, you know, who would ever think that that was fake? You know what I'm saying? Like, we trust the news, or we used to trust the news, and we would never think that they would report something false, or that they would create something just to sway a group of people a certain way. You know what I'm saying? Like, I never thought that. Well, this is why I woke up.
Well, this is why I paired the two things together tonight, because these crisis actors and these situations are a tool used in the information warfare. Because of what you said, it gets people emotionally involved. You know, they're like, oh my God, you know, we need to get rid of guns because of the school shooting or that school shooting. I mean, if you think about it, during the Obama administration, there were more school shootings than any other president. And what did we learn from the 16-year plan was to get rid of guns. He wanted to.
Right. Yeah, they need a reason. They need a good reason to.
Yeah. You know, yeah. So that was a tactic that they were using to manipulate people emotionally by using propaganda and fake and phony false information.
Right. Which makes sense now that we understand how the deep state works. That makes perfect sense. But I mean, we won't dive into the details about Sandy Hook, but that has to be one of the biggest psyops, in my opinion, that woke me up. Aside from 9/11, Sandy Hook was the second runner-up that woke me up when Alex Jones was going through all of that. I mean, real or not real, a lot of things were going on that I disagreed with. You know what I'm saying? Like, his freedom of speech was violated.
We don't even have to talk about Sandy Hook. We can look at the Challenger explosion. You know, I don't know if you
know that one.
I don't think. Well, you weren't alive when this happened, but it was in January of 1986. I remember that day vividly. You know, as vividly as people remember 9/11, the Challenger explosion people remember where they were and how they were, what they were doing that day. I was in school in Japan. That's where I was at. And I remember the Challenger explosion and how that just captivated the entire nation, the entire world, as a matter of fact. But then after waking up in 2020 and going down all the different rabbit holes, I started seeing videos of these said astronauts that died in the explosion were actually still alive, and they're professors at different colleges and universities and heads of businesses, and they pull their picture up and compare it to the pictures that they had when they were getting on the Challenger, and oh my God, it's the same people. You can look at it, and then you start questioning, like, did they manufacture that? Did they fake that whole explosion? And again, I know I say stuff that people are like, oh my God, Jimmy's fucking crazy. I get it. I don't care anymore. Make your videos, do whatever you need to do. I don't care. So yeah, there's that. So, what would be the reasoning behind exploding a Challenger? What was going on during that time to just, divert attention away? I think at the time, Iran-Contra hearings were happening. There were a few other things happening as well. Maybe it was for them to get more money coming into NASA. I don't know. I'm just speculating. So there's too many things out there. That's why that's why we talked about false flags, what a false flag operation is, because you got to know how these people are manipulating the masses.
Right. And they use real people. They use real emotion, real issues that are going on right now. And in my opinion, they're just exploiting that, because
Correct.
It's easy to infiltrate a group of people like that. It's easy to sway people by telling them something or misleading them. Like, it's easy when people are emotional about something, or they're ignorant to certain facts. You just don't know all the facts yet. And until you get that, then you can make a better, decision or form a better opinion. But until then, everybody's emotional. They're angry, or they're sad, or they're happy, or whatever the case may be. So that's why I do try. Like, I've listened to your 48-hour, rule or something that that you always say. So this past week, I've just been listening, and it's like strike one, strike two, strike three. And that's when I ultimately said, you know what, this coming Tuesday, I'm just gonna make an announcement. I mean, I don't, you know what I'm saying? Like, it sucks. It sucks for me, because it was like, I really wanted this to be right. I really wanted this to be true. I was really passionate.
Right.
I mean, I am. I'm still passionate, but it makes me kind of disappointed. That's the right word. I'm disappointed right now. So
that's fine.
Yeah. So we're gonna get into it. Should I roll the clip? We're gonna start early again.
Yeah, that's fine, because if we start early, maybe we can end early.
All right. So I'm gonna roll, the next intro, and then I'll put the link in the description so that people can join us and let me know how you feel about things. All right, everybody. Welcome to the next part of the show where it gets messy. But I think tonight it's not going to get that messy. It's just going to be me explaining why I don't like Trump no more. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. But I put the link in the chat. So if anybody wants to join, you guys can join us. I'll put it there again just in case, because I want people to join a little bit later on when we talk about Israel versus Iran. I want you guys to join, and please explain to me, if you can, in simple terms, because I have a migraine, what the issue is with Israel and Iran. Because I only know one thing for sure. And the only thing that I know for sure is that we better not get into that damn war, and we better not be sending any money or any weapons to Israel. I'm so done with Israel. Um, that's all I know. But if anybody has more information about that conflict and would like to share it, definitely join the stage. Um, Okay, so the first thing I guess is really simple to talk about the No Kings protest, because we did talk about it last week. And I don't know, if you are in support of the No Kings protest, please hit the link and join us now as well. I would like to hear your thoughts about the No Kings protest. I think RFK Jr. and Trump were kind of making jokes. They were mocking the movement, saying that they succeeded, that people were protesting that there are no kings in America. And Trump said, thank you to those organizers, because we still have no king. Um,
that was a joke, right?
well, that's what I said. I mean, they were joking. They were mocking it because
No,
people were
no,
saying that Trump was a king or a dictator.
yeah, it Trump that post, because I put it out last night on my Facebook page, because I started seeing people posting it,
Yeah.
and I'm like, I hope these people know that this is not legit, because I went straight to his Truth Social to
Mhm,
look for said post, and
mhm.
it was not on there. I went to his X feed, and it was not on there. So Trump did not put that post out. It was somebody else making fun of it and putting it out.
Oh, so you're saying that Trump did not say those words? It
No, he
wasn't
didn't.
his
Yeah,
tweet.
yeah. Let's go to my Facebook page,
All right.
and let's read the post for those that may have missed it, because
Oh,
I did put it. Yeah, Trump didn't do that.
okay. Hold on. I gotta go to Facebook now. All right, guys, give me just 1 second.
I thought it was funny as hell.
All right, everybody, we're gonna go to Jimmy's Facebook page. Oh, thank you. Thank you. All right, everybody, here's Jimmy's page, and you've changed the banner once more. It says time to wake up. All right. Where's the post, Jimmy?
So it should be. I did it last night. You'll see it. Not there. Not there.
Yep, that's it.
Is that one? I want to. Okay, I think that's it right there. Yeah.
Okay, so you said no. Donald did not post this. It is a joke and funny as hell. And the picture says a huge thank you to all the No Kings protesters yesterday. I was very concerned the king was trying to take my place, but thanks to your tireless efforts, I am still your president. Great job, all. Okay,
Trump did,
so
Trump did not put that out.
okay,
So
great. So that's a real, real time correction. He didn't say that.
yeah. Now what he did say is in a press conference, and I saw a clip of it, to where he said they're having this No Kings protest, but it seems like a king would be able just to. He's like, I have to go through and get approval for everything that I try to do. He's like,
Right.
how can I be a king? Well, he didn't go on and on about it, but how can the man be a king if he has to go through Congress to get approval on everything? And then, of
Mhm.
course, you have the executive orders that he signs. And if he was a king, then the courts could not challenge those executive orders. It would be whatever the king said, and boom, that's it. So tell me how the man's a king.
Right. Okay. So that's what I really wanted to bring up. It was because I didn't really care about this type of protest
Yeah,
because
I
it
didn't
just
either.
didn't make any sense. I hate when they mislead or misrepresent Trump when they say things like king or dictator. It just throws everything out the window because it's like, stop playing around. You know what I'm saying? Like, we know we don't have that. So talk about a real issue.
Yeah. Do you think Kim Jong Un would allow a no dictator day, a no dictator protest? Do you
No.
think King Henry VIII would have
Mm-mm.
allowed the citizens there to have a no kings protest?
Hell
No,
no.
no,
No. They would
that
have his
crap
head
would
in
have
a
been,
pike.
yeah, it would have been squashed. So for all these people out there, oh no, okay. So with that said, pull up that meme I sent you that you said you already had pulled up about, and then let's look and see what side of the fence here was actually promoting tyranny or lordship over somebody. Go ahead and read that.
All right. So this was a Facebook post, it looks like, and it has been circulating all over the internet. And the post says, "No kings, but put your mask on. No kings, but lock us down. No kings, but I'm firing you for not vaccinating. No kings, but you can't go outside. No kings, but we don't accept your exemption. No kings, but you need 1, 2, 3, 80 boosters. No kings, but we're shutting your businesses down. No kings, but you can't worship the real king. No kings, but your family members will die alone. No kings, but I'm opening a hotline so you can tattle on your neighbor. No kings, but mandates galore. No kings, but you're responsible for my health. No kings, but social distance at 6 feet apart. No kings, but no family gatherings over 10. The hypocrisy is astounding. Who is actually the tyrant here?"
Exactly. Enough said.
Yeah.
I mean, they were exerting their tyranny during that time. And the sad thing is too many people fell for it and went along with it.
Right. So once again, I think this type of a movement is also targeting people's emotions because they are angry with whatever Trump is doing and they feel as if he's the main guy. They do what he says, like a cult without questioning him or whatever. But please remember, we have checks and balances. We have 3 branches of government to make sure that that doesn't happen. Like, Trump cannot do anything without Congress. You know what I'm saying? Like, come on.
Yeah,
There's things in place for that.
It was just a ridiculous. I mean, I really think that the deep state is actually grasping at straws right now, trying to come up with anything. And I think that this is one of those things. It makes no damn sense.
I think
And
they were also upset about the military parade, which is why I also put that on there because I want to talk about that too. But I saw people saying that that was a display of aggression, like Trump wanted to bring out all the tanks to show.
So let's go back and see when they got approval for the military parade. Do you know that the approval for the military parade was done last year under the Biden administration?
Really?
Yes. Yes.
Okay, wait. So do you think that that approval went on whether or not Biden was going to be president, or they thought that Biden was going to win, or Kamala?
I think it was, well, you know how I feel about the Biden residency anyway. I think it was all set up there to show the people. But for the public consumption, they talk crap about the parade, but they don't know all the other stuff that I talk about or whatever. But just from what they see, they can go back and look and then be like, oh, wow, Biden approved this back in 2024. It wasn't Trump that approved it. It was the Biden administration.
Okay, all right.
So for the normies, for the folks that don't go as deep as we do, Ruby, and they just look at the surface stuff, this is what they would see. They'd be pissed off at Trump in a parade, but then they'd be like, oh, wait, Biden approved it? They got the approval under Biden?
Right, because they don't know it. Like I didn't know that just now. So once again, it's like if you don't know those things, then of course you're gonna, believe whatever your mind wants you to believe until you get the information, the correct information.
And if people didn't know that, if people don't know that, and the media's not going to tell you that, then you're going to get emotionally involved and be like, why is Trump throwing a military parade? What's that all about? Is that about his ego or this? No.
Exactly.
No, it's not. You're getting emotionally involved because you don't have the right information.
Right, exactly. So that's why I try my best to get the information so that I can make a better opinion. Excuse me. So remember last week when I was talking about how in Florida the protesting, like DeSantis signed the bill that you could run them over because there
Yeah.
are videos.
Yeah.
there are videos on X, like people are getting run over, but
Yeah.
not in Florida. Like people in Florida, they know what's up. They
Yeah.
know the laws here when it comes to protesting. If you don't get out of the way when that light turns green, good luck. So I wanted to show you how people protest in Florida. I think this is hilarious, but it's awesome. It says they knew to move for that green light. That's all that matters. So you see them at the red light, and then they all move over to the sidewalk as soon as it turns green.
That's great. And see, and another aspect a lot of people don't think about, like I said, you have to dig deeper. Okay, so where were most of these protests held at?
Big cities.
And
So-called
who are,
democratic cities.
and what was that?
Democratic cities, which are usually major cities. Yeah.
All right. Okay. So you have Democratic controlled cities. The majority of them is where these protests took place.
Mhm.
And what are they protesting? Oh, get rid of ICE. We
Anti-ICE, right?
yeah, anti-ICE. Even Kamala Harris said, "Oh, we really need to reimagine ICE. We need to relook at it." And who left the borders open? The Biden administration. What do they use these illegals for? They use them for voting purposes and congressional seats. I put up a post the other day that said if all the illegal aliens were removed from California, they would lose, I think, 3 congressional seats and 2 electoral college votes. So if they've been using these people to cheat in their elections, because really, does anybody really believe Nancy Pelosi won all these times? Seriously? No. Or Mitch McConnell? No. They've been cheating in these places. So if you remove the illegals, how does that affect them? It affects their ability to cheat and win elections. And and how do you get these people in your back, these politicians, these DAs in your back pocket? Oh, you pay them, George Soros and other organizations. So, hey, don't worry about it, Gavin. I got you covered. I'm going to pay all these people out here to go out and protest anti-ICE, and it'll look good and blah, blah, blah. So don't worry. I got you. We'll be fine. That's how they operate.
Right. And I mean, that's their base. And even in those states, they even pass laws that would help those types of people to vote for them. So it's like a circle. As long as you're in the circle, you're fine. You're good. You don't have nothing to worry about. They will get you an ID if you're illegal. They will get you social services even if you're not a citizen. Like crazy stuff like that, right? And then when it comes, oh, go ahead.
I was going to say, and to show how they've been doing this playbook for quite some time, let's go back to the Civil War. All the slaveholders who wanted slavery, what were they saying? Oh, well, if you free all the slaves, who's going to pick our crops? Who's going to do this? Who's going to do that? And what the hell are they saying right now? Oh, who's going to pick our crops? Who's going to clean our houses?
Exactly.
It's the same thing.
I know. It's so crazy. It's hilarious to me. I'm sorry. It's just funny because I'm like, how can you not notice that? How similar the whole framework is set up. Like the way it's set up is like the illegals kind of took the place of black people in America back in the day before they were freed. And it's like you just replaced the same minority group that group wanted to move out of. So it never went away.
And even black citizens in Chicago, they are on record at board meetings and city hall meetings saying the same thing you just said. Hey, they're trying to replace us with these illegal immigrants.
Right, exactly.
They've said it.
Gosh.
Not Jimmy the white boy saying it. It was them.
No, yeah, and it's just true. No matter who says it, it's just a fact. It's just true, and that's why it's like certain things like that I don't think will ever go away. That is not something that will ever go away. They will always try to replace that either minority or slave mentality. Is they want to work you for less and they want to work you more. And who else are they
That's
going to take advantage of?
that's why that particular system needs to be done away with and dealt with. And in my opinion, it is. It is. Because
Mostly.
if we look at illegal immigrant, I think I put it on my X feed just here in like the last 3 hours that showed illegal immigrants released into the United States in 2024. There was some number. I don't even remember what the number was. But then it said in 2025, it was zero. So if you got control of the border and these folks aren't coming in, that's a good thing. That's a good step.
Mm-hmm. Okay, I mean, I hope so, because deep down inside, I really don't believe that. I mean,
Yeah.
all right, I'm just gonna be honest once again. I'm sorry, I really don't believe that those things will change. Just like I don't believe that the border situation is ever going to change. Like unless we have a radical change, I don't think that it's ever going to. And this is what I said on
But
the Asses
but
Live. What?
but you can't dispute the numbers that we're seeing right now with the number of border crossings going down. I mean that's
Right, right,
happened.
right. No,
I
that's
mean
great. That's great.
you can see it in real time happening. It,
Mhm.
there's progress in the right direction.
Great. That's great. I'm just not an incrementalist. I'm more of a abolitionist. I want a concrete, permanent solution the first time. I don't want to have the same problem in the next 4 years, the next administration, because what it
I get
seems like
that.
to me is that they create the problem because they never solve it. They only solve the symptoms, which is honestly how I feel about the border. I don't think that that's ever going to get fixed because I've been alive for 29 years, and how many administrations have come and go with the same problem?
Yeah, see, that's we disagree on that because I do see a positive step in the right direction of shutting down the border, securing the border, and fixing that
But how
issue.
many times are you going to secure the border until it's completely secured?
Yeah, I mean, right as it is right now, I do believe that the border is secure. I do.
Okay,
Now
I
there's
mean, I hope so.
there's going to be a few people getting through different spots or whatever right now, but with what I've seen, yeah, we're not having the problem. And here's another way that I can say it too. At the
Mhm,
health department, there were a lot of refugees and illegals coming in to get
mhm,
treatment and everything.
mhm.
That number, they have actually laid off nurses over the last 2 months because they're not having the influx of people that they were having over a year ago.
And that's great. I think that that's great.
So,
We're seeing a reduction in the problem. All I'm saying is that I'm seeing a pattern. It is a loop and a pattern that these politicians run on as if the problem is never getting fixed. How many more years are we going to keep saying border security, illegal immigrants? How many more years is it going to look as if America cannot do it overnight?
let me ask you a question. Do you think Trump needed the illegals to win an election?
No.
Do you think that the Democrats needed illegals to win elections?
I mean, I want to say no, because if they had a better party, if they had a better message, if they were more pro America, I think people would be fine being a Democrat and that
Well,
they would vote for
I
a
get that,
Democratic
but my
person.
question is, do the Democrats rely on the illegal immigrants for voting purposes?
I think they do, unfortunately.
So, who would want to protect the border from being secured? Who would not want that?
Them, and I get that, but
Yeah,
that's anti-American. That's treasonous, in my opinion. So if you
exactly.
Okay, so that's what I'm saying. Concrete, permanent solution that if you are not protecting this country, you out of here. Like default, it shouldn't even be a conversation. And the border should be protected overnight. Like, what are we doing here? There should be a wall. There should have been a wall years ago. And people it might sound crazy, but there should be like you get zapped on sight if you try to cross that border. Like it should be bigger and better than any other country. We're the United States of America. Stop telling me that we can't solve this overnight. Like, I'm sorry, it's a fake problem to me. It's
See,
fake.
I like the passion that you have, that you want to fix this stuff. And, I had the same thing. I'm like, when I was waking up to everything, I'm like, why can't we do this? Why can't we do that? Let's do this now. Let's get this done, blah, 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 blah. But then I have to look back at the majority. I mean, you can't do this just with a handful of people. You got to take back the country with the majority of the people on board with doing so. And if most of your nation has been propagandized, brainwashed, and they can't see all this stuff, you got to slowly put it out there for them to digest it. We've had that discussion before.
Yeah, but like I told you last week, it's like the residents of those border states would not have a problem doing it themselves,
Right.
because they live there. They have to face the consequences, not the rest of the
Yeah.
country.
Yeah, I mean,
So-
I have no problem with the U.S. citizens going down there. If I was in North Carolina, if North Carolina was on a border, you don't think I would be
Of
patrolling my
course.
border?
Of course, we
I'd be
would
like,
all
no,
do
no,
it.
no, y'all ain't coming across here.
Exactly, we would all do it. But this
Yeah.
government is creating a fake problem, in my opinion. It's just fake.
Yeah,
Because if
and
they really wanted to, they can do it overnight like this, and that's it. Problem solved.
well, I
But
mean, the Biden administration said that, oh, we need a bill to pass in Congress to secure the border. And
Mhm.
and when the Republicans, didn't get on board with that, then they can turn around and say, oh, look, it's the Republicans who want the border wide open. We need this bill. Trump comes in, doesn't need a bill to shut the freaking border down.
Right.
It's in the Constitution. That is one of his presidential jobs, to protect the border. So you didn't need a bill. And people are learning that now, like, oh, wow. Okay, Biden said there needed to be a bill, but Trump comes in and just does it. Why do we need a bill?
Right.
What was
that's
in that
what
bill?
I'm saying. Yeah. Be proactive. Be offensive. Take control of that problem, so that we're not talking about immigration 4 years from now. Like that's dead and gone for me. We shouldn't be talking about the same problems we've had in the past. I don't know. That's just me. So
Yeah.
just really quickly, a couple of people are asking if there's two different chats going on. So yeah, we're streaming on Jimmy's channel and my channel. So if you want to hop to either chat, you can definitely do that. I'm going to try to get everybody's comment up to the stage. But the link is out there, guys. If you want to join the conversation, I'll put it again just in case. You guys can join the stage. Okay, so the military parade, I want to move into that.
Okay.
I'll be honest, I'm too young to experience military parades. The only parades that I've ever known about or seen is under Trump. I can't remember if there was a parade under Obama, Biden, and I was a baby during Clinton, so I wouldn't know. But like, did any other presidents do this?
I want to say yes. I think there's been military parades before. I want to think that, and somebody can fact check us or whatever. Y'all can look it up for yourselves. Hell, just do a Google search.
Yeah.
Were there military parades under other presidents? I'm thinking maybe World War II. There might have been some. Whenever I see military parades, it's usually China or North Korea or some other nation doing. But I don't know for sure. I'm pretty sure. And we got to remember they were in celebration of the 250th birthday of the Army too.
Okay, all right. So the birthday, I understand, but let's see.
I mean, hell, they run parades for LGBTQ stuff, so pride parades. Why not have a military parade? What's the big deal?
All right, so it's one random website has said military parades have been consistent throughout U.S. presidential history, while multiple presidents organizing for events for various purposes. So it says in the early period, George Washington established a tradition during the early republic. Andrew Johnson organized victory parades after the Civil War. Woodrow Wilson did World War I. Franklin D. Roosevelt during World War II. Modern era, Eisenhower, Kennedy held parades during their inaugurations, and then H.W. Bush organized a parade after the 1991 Gulf War.
All right. So this is nothing new.
Nothing new, but I was kind of curious to see if like this was a tradition, like every administration did it. So it doesn't seem like every administration did it. Just the ones that website kind of.
Well, some administrations are against our military anyway. We've learned about that.
Okay, good point. Good point.
You know, like Obama, we learned in the 16-year plan, wanted to remove generals, cut funding to the military, and all that stuff. So why would he throw a military parade? He hated the military.
Right. He defunded them, right?
Correct. Correct.
That's what got me. That was another waking up. What president? Or any leader defunds their military? That's what gets me.
A corrupt politician, a corrupt criminal. You know, gotta go deeper, Ruby. Gotta go deeper.
Oh, I know that, but right on the surface, I just be looking at people like, give me a reason. Why would any leader of a country defund their military? That's like suicide almost. It's like you're asking for something bad to happen.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so the 258th birthday, I understand that. And then I just wanted to know if, this was traditional, because I think, in my opinion, that should be an American tradition of every administration to have a parade, birthday or not. That's nationalism, in my opinion. It's love of nation. And what better way to promote or show the strength of a nation with a military parade? It makes you, it does give you pride, prideful. But I think if you have a good balance of a certain emotion, of a good balance of your love of country, of your pride of country, of your service, or of other people's service, I think that's okay, in my opinion, to have that love.
Like I said, I grew up in the military. I was an Air Force brat, so to speak. And so I have high affections for our military, our good men in uniform. So I don't have a problem with it one bit.
All right, so I just wanted to play a clip so that everybody can see what Trump did in the parade, and to be clear, and for future presidents or wherever, like for the rest of my life, I have never seen a president do what Trump just did.
Ready to commence the ceremony as directed.
I state your name.
Oh yeah.
Do solemnly swear that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States of America against all enemies, foreign and domestic, that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same, and that I will obey the orders of the President of the United States and the orders of the officers appointed over me according to regulations and the Uniform Code of Military Justice. So help me God. Congratulations. Welcome to the United States Army, and have a great life. Thank you very much. Have a great life.
Have you ever seen the president do that?
I haven't seen it. I haven't seen a president do that. I thought it was cool though.
Yeah, I think that was amazing. I loved it. And I've never seen a president be a part of a parade like this. I've never seen a president do the swearing like that. This is the first time for me. So I was just wondering, anybody in the chat, how do you feel about that? I mean, this is great for me. I love it.
Think about all the things that Trump has done that we've never seen before. Like, for example, signing EOs at that rally. We've never seen a president do that.
Exactly. We have not.
We've never had a president that consistently puts out information on Truth Social. Yeah, on Truth Social,
Yeah.
saying exactly what he's doing pretty much every day. Pretty much.
Exactly. Yeah, I feel a little bit closer to this one, or a little bit more transparent.
There you go.
You can understand in simple terms what's going on in the world, the politics of this country. You don't need to have a degree or be super educated to understand what's going on. He makes it understandable. Jay says Kool-Aid drinkers, in my opinion. What do you mean, Jay? Can you elaborate on that? I don't think this is Kool-Aid. Once again, I think this is patriotism and nationalism. When you see your president swear in members of the new army, like these are new people entering the army. You want to feel like you stand for something, that you protect something.
Yeah, and I think when you become an immigrant, you say this when you are naturalized U.S. citizen at that graduation, they do the same thing. So are these new citizens who say pretty much the same oath? Are they Kool-Aid? If that's what you're referring to, are they Kool-Aid drinkers too?
Yeah, I need a little bit more elaboration to understand what Jay meant by that comment. But
yeah,
I mean that also is it's like saying the Pledge of Allegiance. It's like, to me, in my opinion, personally, that doesn't really mean it's a cult following.
No.
Or like that. To me is love of your country. When you stand up, you put your hand over your chest, and so even something little as that, pledging of the allegiance or an oath or anything of that nature, you should be proud of that.
Well, anybody's that views nationalism or being proud of your country, if anybody, even anybody watching right now, view that as something wrong, please don't ever watch the Olympics again and get involved in that.
Yeah, I mean, I guess, I don't know.
Yeah, if you're not into nationalism, you should never be allowed to watch the Olympics again.
Yeah, and there's levels to everything. You know what I'm saying? Like, yes, people do take it out of hand, and they become a little too nationalistic, and it becomes a problem.
Right.
But we're not talking about that, obviously. So I don't think this is too much of an issue.
A healthy love for your country is not an issue.
Right. And like the deep dive says, that's an oath to the Constitution, not to the president. Exactly. So that's where we have to bring our mentality back to the Constitution.
Yep.
All right. So I just wanted to share that. Okay, quick side note before we get into the Israel and Iran. Did you see about the new Trump phone? I'm gonna play a clip, guys. Does anybody know about this?
I think I just saw something briefly last night, but I haven't looked into it yet.
All right, so let's watch this clip. The new Trump phone.
Great to have everyone back here on Trump Tower on this very fateful day, 10 years later. A lot has happened since then, and we're here to announce something pretty special. We've been working for a long time trying to deliver for the American people, for doing something unique for people who'd been underserved. And today we're here to introduce Trump Mobile. We've partnered with some of the greatest people in the industry to make sure that real Americans can get true value from their mobile carriers. A big part of what we've done right now in the world has been focused on technology for people who have been underserved, whether that's been in crypto or anything else. But one of the places where we felt there was lackluster performance was in the mobile industry. And so with Trump Mobile, we're going to be introducing an entire package of products that people can come, they can get telemedicine on their phone for one flat monthly fee, roadside assistance in their cars, unlimited texting to 100 countries around the world, and we've partnered with some of the best to really bring something unique to the American people. So,
and I think they're going to partner with Starlink to do it too.
Ah, interesting. I haven't heard that one yet.
That's what I saw last night.
All right. How do you feel about that, guys? Anybody in the chat has an opinion about the Trump phone? I don't know.
Well, one thing he did say that I can agree with him totally on is the service we get with our mobile carriers right now is not reliable. It does suck. I can leave my house and go in two different directions, and there's a spot in each direction that when I'm on the phone with somebody, I'll be like, hey, if I get cut off, I'm going to have to call you back.
Yeah.
Uh,
Okay, but this is
that's,
not. They're not. Are they talking about a carrier or are they talking about a phone?
well, probably both. You need like Sprint. Sprint's a carrier, but they have the Sprint phone. T-Mobile, you got T-Mobile phone. So
Right.
it could be a new network, which I think
Interesting.
if they
Interesting.
partner with Safe or
Starlink.
Starlink,
Yeah.
then we already know how good the service is with Starlink.
All
So
right.
so
Welcome to the stage.
I'd be all for it. I don't have a problem with it.
Really?
Let me answer your question on the phone. It's real simple. There's a lot, and I mean a lot, of new technology on cell phones. The problem is these companies are looking for partners like Shark Tank. I think one of the comments mentioned that. And so people like Alex Jones and Natural News, a whole bunch of people have been talking about these different companies, but they just don't get the speed. So all you're looking at here is just the Trump boys are using the name to get this technology out. They partnered with one company. So, for example, we have there's phones out there that are like private, where all your browsing data, people can't find you, and these phones cost like about $1,000, but there's a market for it. So what this is a good thing, because what's going to happen is you're getting this technology out. But a lot of these companies don't want to go through AT&T. They don't want to go through T-Mobile because they're going to steal their ideas. They're going to steal their patents. That's what they're afraid of. So that's what you're having here. And more of this stuff is going to come out. And so that's why we've kind of like had a speed bump. Have you noticed with technology with the phones? Because you notice how we have great technology, but then it's kind of like the iPhones 15, 16, 17, they're all kind of the same. Nothing really, really fascinating and new. There's a lot of new stuff out there.
You know what? You bring up a good point, and it got me thinking about some other stuff that I've learned. You said that there's a lot of new technology that is being introduced, right? So one of the things that was in the Q post was the fact that I can't remember. I think it was 6,000 patents. Maybe it was 6,000 cures. But anyway, there's also patents. But there's a lot of technology that has been hidden from the public for years. I mean, do you think AI is new? To the public, AI is like, oh, wow, this is like in the last, 4 or 5 years. It's really blown up in the last 2.
No,
Right.
AI was around in the late 80s.
Yeah, they've had this technology. It's just been hidden from the public. Is this a way, since we are in the Great Awakening, this is just me thinking out loud and in real time, is this a way to release some of the hidden technology to the public?
Yes. And if you look at YouTube and you type in some 1950s and 60s movies, there's always a guy in a Rolls Royce with a cell phone in his car, but he's always in a Rolls Royce. So the cell technology was already around in the 1960s. So, but what you're having here is like, say for example, you have all of these kids that are startup companies, right? They're geeks, they're computer geeks. They don't want to say to AT&T and Verizon, hey, look at this technology that we invented. No, because they know it's going to be purchased and shelved.
Yep.
And so that's why they're going with people like Trump and others, because they're trying to bring it to market. But yeah, you're absolutely right. A lot of the stuff like Ford, General Motors, we already know it. They buy the technology and then they shelve it.
Yep.
So
that's
what you're seeing.
There's too many documentaries or stories about guys that have invented things, and then lo and behold, they get bought out and it gets doesn't come to market, or these people end up dead.
Yeah, that's what you're saying, Ruby. That's what this is a good thing.
But to say Trump phone, my goodness, that's like a buzzword. That's going to get everybody interested in it, whether you're for him or against him.
No, the Trump phone, let me get one better. The Trump phone is going to bring the phone in at $1,000, and it's going to go to 800-765-43, because and like the VCRs. When I was a kid, the VCRs were like $1,000, $2,000. This is 1980s money, and now you can buy a VCR for $39. So this Trump phone is bringing this expensive technology in, and hopefully within a couple of years, you'll be able to buy it at Walmart.
Yeah.
But okay, red flag for me is with every phone, not just this one, with every internet, with every app, with every device. They're watching you. They're collecting data. They're listening to you. They're watching you. I don't think there's gonna be anything different. But I think, like you said, they're using the name so they can get out there more. And my fear, or well, not a fear, but like my concern, is that more people are gonna have this more surveillance. Like,
Not
shouldn't
necessarily.
we be less
No, because the
surveillance?
technology is there, and you can look it up. I forget the names, but there's cell phone companies. They're like about $1,000 a phone, and you're on a waiting list, and it works on privacy. So rich CEOs are buying these phones. Remember, like the problem they had with Pete Hegseth, with they're using government phones and they were being hacked, and so there is technology out there to minimize being traced, and it's expensive. So the average person like you and me can't afford it. But
and we don't know if it's backed by blockchain technology as well.
Correct.
So if you don't know what blockchain technology is, do some research on it.
So we just need more of these phones, like the Trump phones, to come out, in my opinion, because the more competition we have, the more technology gets out. It's better for all of us. The problem is when AT&T and T-Mobile are monopolizing the industry,
Right.
And that's the bad part.
I agree with that, but I disagree with the technology thing. I think we should be less technology, less of the government watching us, listening to us. We should abolish those bills that were passed long time ago.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so I just think this is like another marketing thing to get people more technology into more homes where they can spy on people more.
Yeah, I wish people would, I wish people would have that same attitude and thought process when they buy their Roombas, when they buy their Alexas or whatever.
No, that's exactly what it is. Those things are
your smart TV, your smart
they're
watch.
to you. They're watching you with every camera in your phone and your device.
But if they came out with a new Alexis tomorrow, all these people that are talking crap about the Trump phone and surveillance would be out there buying it.
Exactly, that's the problem. It's called technophiles, and that was the one thing that I used to say about Elon from the very beginning. He's a technophile. He's a tech guy, whatever you want to call him. He is more in that industry, in that field, than anybody. And the fact that he was coming up with Trump, that was one of my concerns. It's like, what is this guy doing, and why is he getting so close to this? I mean, even though I've said before, like, I don't care about the information, which I don't, but I think it's just a concerning thing. Same thing with the EVs. They're watching you. They're tracking you, where you go, where you don't go, when you get home, what time you get home, like all of that.
Yeah, there's two comments that I loved. Ava said, "I'm sick of upgrades." Me too, Ava. Every time I turn around, there's a freaking upgrade to my phone, and it messes up my settings. Then the other one said, Lisa Sand said, "Your refrigerator." And I was shocked when one day my nephew came over to visit, and he said, "Uncle Jimmy," he says, "you got Wi-Fi?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I do." And he's like, "Okay, well, which device do I connect it to? The refrigerator or the computer?" I'm like, what?
That's crazy.
I was like, "Dude, what? My refrigerator?" So I didn't buy the refrigerator. Carissa did. But I went and looked at the writing on the outside, and it said Wi-Fi enabled. I'm like, why in the hell does my refrigerator need to have Wi-Fi?
Yeah, that's crazy.
I'm sorry.
Welcome to the stage,
Anyway.
Gail.
Hi.
UG. What's up?
I want to put my my health creepy thoughts into this whole conversation about cell phones. I shut my cell phone off at night and my laptop. I do not bring it near me when I'm in bed, because I'm more concerned about the G5 radiation and what it does
Yeah.
to, and what it's doing to the environment and to our brains, and especially our children, where people have that on the ear. I won't put my cell phone on my ear because I'm a 2-time cancer survivor, so I keep it on my chest. I don't want it near my head.
Right.
But I wanted to ask you if you saw Arnold's interview with The View today.
I saw it. I did not watch it, but I saw that it was out there. I didn't have time to watch it because I was getting ready for the show and had some other stuff to do tonight.
You have to watch it, and I will give kudos to Arnold, because they tried goading him into, and what he said, I loved what he said. I actually listened to him twice. What he said, his speech should be used as a role model for everyone's view on immigrants that come into this country. It was beautiful what he said, and they were trying to get him. You should have seen the look on their faces, because it backfired. He said some beautiful things about himself when he came into this country, and that he was an established actor, governor of California twice, and he's actually going to speak at what's the mountain with all the president's faces on July 4th? He's going to speak, and they're going to give citizens, illegal immigrants, their citizenship the same day he speaks. And what he said about being an American for him was absolutely beautiful. And I think everybody should watch and listen to what Arnold said, because he said illegals should not come in here unless they come in legally. And he really stressed that. And Whippy especially, and Sonny try to goad him into saying, oh, it's the American migrants, not the illegals, who caused all the violence. And he just looked at them. He didn't even confront them for saying that, but that was the end of their stance to him. But they couldn't.
Yeah, I mean, if Ruby wants to play it, we could find it and play it.
Oh, yeah, it's wonderful.
But you know what I'm sitting here thinking? This is how my brain works.
Okay.
I'm thinking, oh, is this the same Arnold Schwarzenegger that during CV said, F your freedoms?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it is.
All
I
right.
don't like them myself, but yeah, it is.
And so that's why there's a part of me that thinks, okay, so which one is the real Arnold? You know, I mean, people's brains have got to be like going crazy right now. Because you know, this Arnold said, screw your freedoms. And this one's saying, oh, we love immigrants, you know?
Nah, I'm good.
It's like, which one? Which one are we seeing?
I don't care. What he said was nice.
Yeah.
I don't care what he represents or stands for. What he said was beautiful, really. I hope he meant it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Welcome to the stage, Joseph. If you want to comment on something, go right ahead.
Well, about the cell phones, the Trump phone is going to be completely manufactured here in the United States.
Good.
And
That's good.
all inquiries will be done out of the United States. You don't have to talk to some guy in India or any other place. And also, Elon Musk is coming up with a cell phone in January of 2026, and it will only cost about $260. And you only have to pay like $40 a month to be connected to Starlink.
Wow.
Yeah, that kind of makes sense for somebody like him. I'm just against it. I'm totally against it.
I just don't understand, you know, like with your phones now. I mean, are your phones really your phones? Because aren't you leasing them now? Aren't they leasing phones to people?
No,
I haven't bought a new phone in like 4 or 5 years. So if anybody's just recently changed over your phones, bought a new phone, did you have to lease it?
Yes, I had to do a 2-year contract with mine.
So,
Elon's phone, or it's going to be the Tesla phone, it's going to be completely AI.
Oh, I don't like
Okay.
that.
I want to go back to, I'm like stuck on this for a second.
Mhm.
Gigi, on your phone, you got a
Mm-hmm.
2-year contract. Now, I remember when I bought my phone, I had to pay for my phone and I had a payment for that. Okay, I get that. But
My phone was free because I signed a 2-year contract, and I paid $20 a month because I got a senior discount. And also on your settings, you can shut off your GPS, which I did. I don't use it as a GPS anyway, but I shut my settings off so I can't be tracked. Plus, I have an old phone, so and I don't
did
really
you
care if they track.
did you read the full contract?
No.
Of course.
Who does?
I'm just wondering what's in that contract.
Mhm.
Well, I probably if I broke the contract. Oh, I think if I went with another carrier, I would have been penalized. That was my con. Yeah, I couldn't go with another carrier for 2 years.
So
Well, that's the trouble. If you buy an Apple phone, you're going to have to get a service to use it, either like Sprint or somebody else. Whereas the Trump phone and Elon's phone, once you're there, you're automatically in the system. You don't have to pay, for another system because it's all going to be connected to Starlink.
see, I'm sitting here thinking, sorry, y'all, I'm doing a lot of thinking tonight. Freedom of choice.
Mm-hmm.
If Gigi, if you wanted to say, hey, I don't like this service anymore, and I should have the freedom to change over my service, but I'm going to be penalized if I do so. Does that seem right to anybody?
Yes, if you sign a contract.
Yeah, I suppose. Yeah, I don't know.
Well, it
My
depends
2
on
years
the
up
terms
anyway.
of the contract and all the bylaws and all the section 3, section A, B, and dash whatever it's going to tell you.
Yeah, I would be interested to see what's actually in that contract. Just curious.
But I think that doesn't even matter. I mean, what freedom of choice to be surveilled by one carrier over the other? That's the bigger issue here. The government is watching and listening to you with these new technology, old and new technology, and they're even passing bills to make it legal for the government to spy on you, which we already know after 9/11. So if we want to change that, then these new technologies wouldn't mean anything to me until we get the Patriot Act and others like it. If there is any others like it, we need to abolish them.
I agree with that. I agree with getting rid of anything out there. Well, like the Patriot Act, get rid of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So new phones,
Do
old
you know
phones.
what the Trump phone is going to cost per month for all the services?
I think
It's
I saw like 49.
$45.47.
Yeah, something like that. Something like that.
45.47.
Yeah. I
That's
mean,
true.
I don't really care about that. I just wanted to bring it up to be like, wow, look at what Trump is doing now. But I don't really care for technology.
I don't know. I think this whole argument of, oh, I don't want to be spied on, I think that kind of just, to me, I'm like, oh, you don't want to be spied on, but yet you got a cell phone anyway. You got a computer, you got Wi-Fi, you got an electrical vehicle, you got this, that. So where do you draw the line at? Yeah, I don't want my phone, but it's okay. My refrigerator spy on me.
Well, that's what I'm saying. That's the problem. New technology is bringing in those new services and new devices to spy on you either way. So what's the big deal about another new product is what I'm trying to say. Like, it doesn't matter about this
Do
Trump.
you have a
It's just another way to
smart
spy on
TV?
you.
You have a
I
smart.
don't. I don't.
Well, good. Well, if you don't have people who have smart TVs, it has a camera on it. It could be watching you as you,
They showed
even with the television off.
Right.
They showed you this in the movies back in the 90s. If you go back to the Batman that Jim Carrey was the Joker in, and they were peddling a device that would go into all the homes and basically spy on everybody and get their thoughts and everything. And everybody bought this thing and put it in their homes. Okay. That was in the 90s. And then now you have Alexa out there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Well,
I'm
I'm sorry.
personally against it. Sorry, Gigi. I'm just saying, like, I'm against it. I'm more traditionalist. So I'm like VHS type. I'm like those TVs.
Yeah, I mean,
That
I'm
like
cool.
that.
That's fine.
What about bundle services? Don't you have they try always trying to get me to bundle my service with my cell phone to have my internet and my Wi-Fi
Yeah.
and my
That's
cell
nice.
phone.
That's so that you can pay a little bit more and receive a lot more services
Yeah.
and more
Welcome to the
commercials.
stage.
And more
Sorry.
commercials.
Yeah, exactly. Sorry, I just want to welcome Regressive to the stage.
What's he calling himself tonight?
Regressive. Welcome to the stage.
Oh,
Go
hi,
ahead.
regressive.
I'm regressive. One of you said something about freedom of choice. I
Yeah.
think Jimmy
I
or
think it was
Ruby.
Ruby.
That was me.
Yeah, that
yeah.
was Jimmy.
Sorry,
And
wrong person.
I really think that hits the nail in the head. I really do. In my industry, I'm from the HVAC industry, and I tell everybody in my circle that it really is a slavery. And I've been in the industry 40 years.
What is it?
HVAC, air conditioning.
Oh,
And in Arizona, it really is a slavery because all the new technology that we talk about is a disaster. And I tell everybody, imagine that in the automotive industry. For example, in the air conditioning industry, we're going through the revolution that you guys are all talking about. An air conditioning technician in the middle of summer doesn't have time sometimes to go to use the restroom. And now you tackle on environmental regulations, new technology, new refrigerants, new everything. It becomes a slavery where all the old technicians are dying out or retiring. You have a wave of new technicians who are underskilled. And then you have the illegal aliens or the mafia or the Chinese contractors or the Mexican illegal alien contractors. So it's a wild, wild west industry. But if you talk about this in any of the forums, they call you stupid, a conspiracy theory.
Oh boy.
But it is. Now, imagine in California, for example, they were going to have the electric vehicle mandate. You would literally, I could envision in 2030, if it passed, you would have people shooting mechanics. Like you go into a mechanic shop for a carburetor or a fuel injection fix, and the mechanic says, "I'm sorry, I'm mandated that I can't work on your fuel injecting system." Somebody's going to get shot. So an air conditioning guy is going to go to your house. You just paid $10,000, $20,000 for an HVAC system, and he says, "I'm sorry, the government just outlawed your Freon."
Yep.
Somebody's going to get shot. I mean, so we the workers, we the working class, the middle class people, we're in the front lines of the politicians trying to save the world and the technology. And homeowners have had enough because mom and grandpa are the ones having to pay for all this new technology. It's expensive. For example, let's say you have just your air conditioning blower, your furnace blower. 10 years ago, 5 years ago, it was just a 240 volt or 120 volt motor. Today, they're smart motors. They're computer programming. So when they break down, they're maybe 200, 300% more expensive.
Yep.
Nobody has that disposable income to fix stuff. So what happens? The black market kicks in. Or let's say the government mandated you have to use these electric motors. Well, the technician, what he's going to do, he's going to go he's going to jerry rig the old unit and put one of them old fashioned units for a fraction of the cost.
Yep.
Destroying the warranty. So I don't think the politicians are allowing us freedom of choice. For example, in the electric vehicle and these appliances, put them both in the market and let the consumer decide. But what our politicians do, they outlaw the old technology. So we don't have freedom of choice.
Look at the meters on your house. If you have a smart meter on your house, that's probably not a really good idea, because they can control the power of your house. And I've had Duke Energy call me many times. "Oh, we're offering a great deal. We can come out and put this." They don't call it the smart meter, but we can put this new meter on your house and blah blah blah. I'm like, nope, I'm not interested.
Some of the smart meters started the fires in California.
Correct.
Yeah, it did. You're right, Joseph.
That too.
Oh yeah, I remember that. But here's another huge issue for me. The founding fathers, created the Constitution, Bill of Rights, right? But that was during a time where technology wasn't even a thing. So now that new technology is here or growing, how do we regulate all that with a constitution that was not written for this era?
Can I have a crack at that?
Sure, go ahead.
Give me 2 minutes or 3 minutes. That's the beauty of the founding fathers. That's the beauty of Jesus Christ. That's the beauty of our founding fathers. That's the beauty of Western civilization. At its founding, we had no Google, but yet it's still relevant. It still answers the important technical questions of the day. Like Jimmy talked about freedom of choice.
Right.
Yeah, we didn't have Google back in 1776, but at least we had freedom of choice. We can go west. We can go somewhere where we could be free. That's the beauty of our Constitution. Yes, it's more relevant now than ever. Jesus Christ is more relevant now than ever. It's more important now to be a peacemaker more than ever before.
Right, but
Thank you, Jesse, for that. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Great point. Okay, so here's my issue: freedom of choice. It's different when you sign a contract. And I do believe we have freedom of choice in America because the market will decide. Consumers will decide.
Correct.
So I don't think that's an issue of us having freedom of choice. The issue comes when these new technologies are created and used in our country against us, the people. And we don't have things in place or that were instituted when these, with a thought in mind that the future would bring this. So when you use these technologies to violate our constitutional rights, there becomes an issue.
Yes.
Yeah, I agree with that. Just to piggyback off of what Jesse said about the Constitution, in 1776, we didn't have AR-15s.
Correct.
But the way that the Constitution is worded, it says you have the right to bear, to carry and bear arms. You have the right to bear arms. Arms being the key word there. It doesn't matter what they invent or whatever as time goes on.
Right.
It's covered in the Constitution. So no matter what they invent technology-wise, if it goes against the principles of the Constitution, yeah, we shouldn't have it.
But it already does.
That's
the point that I'm making. It already violates us with these cameras, with these listening devices. They are watching us and they're listening to us. Would that not go against anything?
But here's the thing. There was a time when that didn't exist. You never lived in that time. All right. We had our little pagers and our little flip phones and our little Nokias and and we didn't have that problem.
Okay. I was around when beepers were around.
It was a Palm Pilot.
Yeah, I mean, and when you had a bag phone in your car, we didn't have this problem of surveillance.
No.
Okay.
Yep.
This was created to surveil the people. It goes
right.
And another thing, Jimmy, is as they bring in new technology and they have the nefarious point of view that Ruby is alluding to, they kill the old technology. For example, this flip phone.
Yep.
They try to make us all go to a smartphone. Like I always use my flip phone. I got this for blogging and my anti-Jehovah's Witness proselytizing and stuff. But I use this to communicate with everybody. Just my flip phone.
Right.
I figure
Yeah, I don't want an iPhone either, Jesse. I agree with you.
And how have they programmed the people in general to look at somebody that has a flip phone still?
Exactly. It's like discrimination just because I have a flip phone.
Good
doesn't
point,
mean
Jimmy.
anything.
I don't know because I love it, and everybody I talk to, they love my phone.
Yeah, I used to
them
have
too,
one for a
Jesse.
long time too.
Yeah.
I love flip phones.
So,
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Is this something new that they wanted to get rid of old technology to usher in something else that they can make money off of? No, this is not new. Go back to the time of the late 1800s and the early 1900s. How much of the old technology was gotten rid of because it didn't suffice the globalist agenda. We used to have free energy. If you go back to the Tartarian stuff, look at the cathedrals, look how these things are built. There was free energy on this planet, but you can't make money off that. You can't control people with that. So we got to get rid of it. Same thing here.
And you know what? We are regressive in this sense. Look at the HVAC industry. In the beginning of time, we had ammonia, we had water, we had propane, we had different refrigerants, natural refrigerants. But before Willis Carrier, we had refrigerants. But in the United States, we said we will not use this in domestic use. We had it in ice plants in the Industrial Revolution and everything, but we didn't use it for domestic use until we invented a domestic gas called Freon that was going to be friendly for domestic use, non-explosive or non-flammable. And that's what we came up with, Freon. Now our governments are putting flammable gases. That's why I call myself regressive, because in many ways, technology sometimes is regressive. Our fathers before us were more loving, and they looked for safe alternatives in technology. And they did not pursue a course that would endanger the public. Today, in the name of saving the planet, we kill the humans. It's contrary to what our fathers used to do before us.
Not only in HVAC, but also in plumbing. Years ago, your house would be plumbed with copper piping.
Correct.
Yes.
And look at the benefits of copper piping when it comes to your water. Now, all your plumbing is done with PVC piping, plastic piping.
Yeah, but those plastic that you're drinking and using and cooking.
Yeah. So they've done this in so many different areas, not just your, something to bring harm to the citizens. Copper piping, great. That's good and beneficial. Nope, we can't have that. Let's give them all plastic piping.
Yeah, good point. I just want to introduce to the stage JP. Welcome. You can unmute yourself and let us know your thoughts.
Hi, Ruby and everybody else. How's it going?
Hi, JP.
Hey, JP.
Yes, I was just gonna say that I think that this is a like Ruby. I voted for Trump too, with a lot more hopes and stuff. Things are getting a little disappointing, as I can see, but I still am hopeful things can change around. But the point I'm gonna make right now is that the United States, our homeland where we live, is no exception to the New World Order and the deep state that is controlling it. Now, Iran is running all these proxies. We constantly hearing that, they're running these proxy wars. They have Hamas that attacked Israel. They have Hezbollah, the Houthis. I guess they really like these H armies for some reason. But anyways, those are their proxies. But at the same time, the United States, we've always been running our own proxy wars since the beginning. For example, we're having a proxy war against Russia through the Ukraine.
Right.
We're sponsoring this army to fight our enemy. We've been doing that with Israel since the foundation of the state of Israel after World War II. We were the ones that sponsored and brought about that state with the United Kingdom. It happened against the Soviet Union when they invaded Afghanistan, and we supplied, the CIA supplied the Taliban and trained them. And then later they became our enemies, attacked our countries. It's happened all through South America, Cuba, all that. So we're no exception. So I think as true American patriots, we really can't trust any politician. And I think as time goes on and technology ravages our lives, because what Jimmy was talking about a few minutes ago and a few other people were things that we lived through before you did, Ruby. I was around before the internet and cell phones and stuff like that. So as time goes on, we can't get complacent. Actually, we have to be more alert, and we don't know what's going to happen. They could very well overpower, the free world, which are people who are, I'm an American patriot. That's what I consider myself, but I'm not down for the deep state government.
Right.
Or what I see what's going on. But this has been going on for a long, long time. And it's just not the United States. Russia's done it. All the major world players around the world are doing it. And unfortunately, what happens is when things fail and go to shit, they attempt to do things and we get sucked into it, just like the United States has been sucked into wars that they've sponsored. The proxy that happened during Vietnam. We're supplying the forces that were fighting the Viet Cong. Then eventually we got sucked into that. A lot of other wars that
that's where
happened
I
during
disagree
World War
with.
I and II.
Sorry to interrupt. That's one point that I disagree with, is that thinking that we get sucked into things. I don't agree with. I don't believe that. I believe it's a choice. And it's a choice that America continues to allow themselves to get sucked in, as if we don't have a choice when we do have a choice. The president
But
should say no.
I have to disagree back with you, Ruby, because like Trump, we voted for America first, no wars.
Right.
And this has been going on since the Civil War, before that. So it's no exception. It's not nothing like, we can disagree, but it's really not your fault or my fault. We don't want to do this. We get these people in that say they're going to do stuff like that. But like, for example, today was saying, well, America first is making sure that we, pretty much get rid of and we see the end of Iran's nuclear weapons, meaning we're probably going to get involved because there's no other way.
And that's another lie. I'm sorry.
That
Is it, how
can
many
happen.
more times are we going to hear another country, another excuse for America to get involved? I think that's another psyop.
Yeah, so what I meant by we get sucked into these things, not us like as individuals that we voted for this, just like we didn't want to go to war in Afghanistan and the Middle East. But a lot of these people in the Middle East, like the Taliban and stuff, we ended up becoming our enemies and killing our American soldiers 20, 25 years later.
That's true. That's true.
With the same weapons that we supplied them. So it's not necessarily us as voters and the true American patriots. I'm just saying that the deep state and the new world order, it's not something in the future. This has been going on for a while, but it's a little more apparent. But for me, it just gets, and I'll just make one more quick point. It gets a lot more scary, like you guys were talking about, the further we get into technology. Because one thing I might fear is if we do go into war with Iran, and we know there's a bunch of terrorist cells here, if a bunch of stuff kicks off here, that is the next excuse that they can say, you know what, we need to have facial recognition. We need to get off of people buying with cash, because people will buy weapons, under, in the back alley, in the black market with cash, and it's not going to be traceable electronically. So we're walking on a dangerous scale. I'm just looking in a 3 or 4D chess of what could happen if we do invade Iran and there's some kind of terrorist activity. Yeah, it could maybe liberate the Iranian people and they could go back to how they were in the 1960s and 70s. But at the same time, it can turn into a situation.
I want to piggyback
really
on what,
bad.
JP, I appreciate
That's all I wanted to say.
Yeah, man, I really appreciate you sharing that information. I agree with about 98% of it. So very good. Talking about getting sucked into the wars and everything, let's go back to World War II. And, FDR, I think he ran on the fact that we weren't going to get involved in Europe's wars and stuff like that. I think that was a smoke show or a smoke screen, because he's telling the people this, gets elected. And then, for years, we're not involved with World War II. But if you look at the history of who Roosevelt was and who he backed, he was a deep state globalist puppet as well. And he knew that the only way that he would be able to get the support of the American people to join the war effort would be if something happened to the United States, if we got attacked. So Pearl Harbor, all right, he knew 100% fact. Look it up. He knew that Pearl Harbor was getting ready to be attacked. He let it happen.
Oh, that's why that's why all of our aircraft carriers were not in at Pearl Harbor.
Yeah, they weren't at sea. So he knew. So he knew then. Hey, okay, and the military industrial complex, all these evil organizations, they knew that the only way we could get into World War II was if they had the support of the American people. And after Pearl Harbor was bombed, then nationalism spread through the United States. And you had all these guys signing up for the military, people faking their age to join the military because we got to get those Japanese. So
yeah, but that's the problem, isn't it, Jimmy? That is that not?
That is a problem because they played on the emotions of the people.
Yeah, but he allowed that attack to happen so
Yes.
that people can get on with the. Is that not a treasonous?
Oh, that's a huge issue.
Yeah,
and I think the same thing happened with 9/11. Oh, we were attacked. We gotta fight the war on terror.
Mm-hmm.
So all these young American men and women joined the military out of good patriotism. Hey, we want to protect our country, but they were fed a lie. And you ask you talk to any veteran, and they'll tell you, yeah, I don't know why we were over there fighting. It makes no damn sense. And this is why our military gets pissed on by our government officials, because they've been used as pawns and they don't give a damn about their future health.
Exactly. So what's the solution? What do you think?
Oh, you got to obliterate the deep state. You got to get rid of the system that's been in place. That's the bottom line, Ruby. I'm just being straight up. You go on your little rants, I go on mine every now and again. That's the problem. The deep state, new world order, globalist elite, that is your problem to pretty much everything.
Right. But in the meantime, because it still exists right now, in the meantime, when we see these things popping off like it is happening in Israel, Iran, Ukraine, wherever it may be, what would be the short-term solution? Because to me, it looks like again and again, people will be misinformed. They would believe the narrative. They will sign themselves up again. So how many more times does this need to happen before people wake up and start saying, no, we will not fight in any foreign wars. We will not die for any other country. We will not sign up our sons and daughters anymore.
That feeling in America has been growing over the last 4 years.
Oh, of course.
It's been growing. There's a lot of people that are like, yeah, I'm not suggesting my kid join the military right now. And there's people out there, especially in the digital soldier space, we're done. We don't want to fight their wars anymore.
Nope. So that was one of the major things that I had an issue with Trump, is like the type of stuff that he was saying in regards to that situation were not something that I wanted to hear. In my opinion, he should have came a lot stronger in terms of like, this is not our war. This has nothing to do with us. We don't have, like, this is not our fight. And that's not what I was hearing from Trump. I think Trump was like, talking about them making a deal or whatever, or that there was supposed to be some type of talks, but Israel attacked first, or, whatever the case may be. No.
Well, he's a negotiator, but we don't really know what he is thinking of right now. He may make statements, but he is a negotiator as in business, and he may put out a proposal, but he may not even be thinking of that in reality to be true. He just puts it out there.
Yeah, I mean, if you look back to the things that he said with, during the COVID years, he'll say something and the media will jump all over him. Okay. So like hydroxychloroquine and ivermectin. He mentioned those things. He got obliterated in the media for it, but he was correct. Right? We've all learned that hydroxychloroquine and ivermectin are great things. Okay. But they obliterated for him. If Trump would have came out and took the direction you would want him to take, Ruby, the media would obliterate him.
Well,
So-
10 years
so-
ago, Trump said that he didn't want Iran to have nuclear power, because don't forget, Iran was funding Hamas and the Hezbollah, and he campaigned on that, promising peace, and he kept saying he doesn't want Iran to have nukes. So, and he really didn't want to send. He doesn't want to send troops in to bomb them, but
No.
Israel overstepped him, and they bombed the scientists and whoever the diplomats were that Trump wanted to make deals with, but he couldn't because they obliterated all of them. But, he's in a rock and a hard place right now. He has to make a decision. He left the G7 summit early so he could come and meet with the Congress. He's probably still meeting with his cabinet right now to figure out what are they going to do. Iran hates America. They already said today that they were going to bomb our military bases. So what is Trump going to do? He doesn't want American soldiers to get killed. I have a niece over there on a carrier, and I have my best friend's son, a Marine, who just got deployed over there. They don't want their children killed, but they think they have a patriotic duty to support and defend our country. And I believe in having a military to defend our country. And yeah, Jimmy, you're right. There are lone wolves in this country just waiting, to get the go ahead to start shooting at Americans. So what is Trump to do? I don't envy him at all in making this decision.
Well, he inherited a terrible mess.
And Pakistan's backing Iran. So we're going to see who's going to back who in this one. It's going to get ugly, I think.
See, this is why, I already knew that something was going to pop off over here in Iran and Israel. I put it out on my Facebook page the other night. We knew about this stuff in 2018 and 2020, and we were told to watch Iran. There was also comments in there about, hey, Iranian people, you need to stand up for your freedom and fight for your freedom. Because what we're talking about here is deep state apparatuses in Iran. Also, like we have here in America. They want all this. So if Israel did what they did, and we already know how we feel about Israel and their deep state government, what I think personally, what we're seeing here is the deep state trying to do whatever they can to push World War III.
Right. Okay. So that's where my question comes in. How did this even start? Why are they even having this disagreement? Why is it that we always have to choose a side? Why can we never take the neutral stance and get our people out of there and let them handle their own disputes?
Ruby, it goes back so. I don't even have the time to explain it all.
Exactly, it's a lot of history. I get it, but
there is.
We shouldn't be there. Is the point? We should
I agree
bring our
with
people
that.
back home
So
and let them handle it.
So someone needs to ask, why did Obama send pallets of cash to the Iranian government on his way out?
Exactly.
Biden gave him $18 billion.
So yeah,
exactly. Why?
And so, how much money has Trump given Iran?
I don't know.
I hope, zero. But at the same time, I think people are noticing that he is backing Israel with the things that he says. So that was my red flag, is why is he even backing any one of them? It should be neutral. He should be neutral. He should be coming out of it.
Me personally, Ruby, I think that's part of the game that's going to be played right now.
And that's a dangerous one because he should
lie.
He shouldn't be backing anybody. I would have the same opinion with the Ukraine stuff. We shouldn't be backing Ukraine or any other little country fighting another country.
I agree with you, Ruby, but the only thing I say is it goes way deeper than just what we're seeing on the surface.
We have no idea.
Way deeper.
Well, who are the richest people in this world? It's the Jewish people. They are bankers. They own all the media companies, and they supported him as a candidate. Many of them. So he's obligated to them in the sense that he is for Israel, but Israel secretly through Netanyahu is they're actually Zionists.
Yeah, behind the scenes, I don't believe Trump is as tight with Israel as a lot of people believe.
Or he believes in them as a nation, and he supports them, but
not the government.
But yeah, not the Zionists.
Yeah,
he likes them as a people and as a nation.
Well, they don't like us. That's another issue. They all hate us.
They hate Christians too over there.
Exactly. So they hate us because we're American, or they hate us because we're Christian. Whatever the case may be, they don't like us, and they have every right to that opinion. That doesn't mean that we should be backing them in anything. That's the main reason why we shouldn't be helping.
Let me ask you: when you say they all hate us, are you talking about every Israeli?
They're not all like that.
I'm talking about the whole other side of the world hate Americans, whether they want to admit it or not. They all hate us. That's my opinion. That's my opinion. They all hate us, and they only want to come over here to disrupt or cause chaos or ruin our culture or destroy our country inadvertently and from the inside out.
Well, I will disagree with that, because I just watched the video yesterday. A guy grew up in Iran. He came to America legally, waited his turn, joined the military, and he is pro-American Constitution. He loves America. So, and I don't think that everyone over there on the other part of the world hates American culture, the way of life. Hell, the Iranians back in the 60s and 70s were copying Western culture. Guys had muscle cars. Girls were going out on the beaches in bikinis and things like that. So I don't believe that every Israeli, Iranian, Iraq, I don't believe that every one of them hate America. They hate the government of America.
Do. Yeah, they want their regime change in Iran.
Yeah.
Okay, maybe there are a minority individuals that don't hate us, but in my mind, the majority.
We gotta separate the people from the government.
Yes.
In every nation. That's what we have to do.
Well, even though Iran is Shia Muslim primarily, do you know that there are over 1 million Christian Iranians in Iran?
I'm sorry. I was trying to look at some of the comments.
Yeah, say that again, Joseph.
Yeah, what'd you say, Joseph? I'm sorry.
We know that Iran is primarily Shia Muslim.
Right.
But even to this very day, there are over 1 million Christians living in Iran.
Correct. And before the state of Israel was founded, incorporated, created, or whatever, you had Jewish people, real Jewish people, not these fake Khazarians, real Jewish people, Palestinians, and Muslims. Well, whatever. They were all living together in that area. Mm-hmm. And for thousands of years, and had no problems.
Yeah, exactly.
It wasn't until the state of Israel was created that all that problem began. Now, they had their own little wars against each other, but that's their own thing.
Right.
Okay. Well, after World War II, we drew the boundaries of these countries.
Yes.
And that caused a lot of frictions between their tribal system.
Correct.
And that caused a lot of conflicts amongst those peoples.
You're absolutely correct. It's called the Balfour Declaration. Basically, where the United States and Britain and the Allies told the Middle East, "Hey, these are your borders now." So
let me clarify. Because in my opinion, I believe that they don't like us or they hate us because they've been indoctrinated to believe so through their governments, through their own deep state, through their fake news. They will dislike us or hate us. So in reverse, I wouldn't agree with my country supplying or helping or being involved in either side of whoever they think is right and wrong because of that, because we don't have the truth anymore, and even less for them too. So in my opinion, I would be zero on the geopolitical world. We need to focus on America first, and that money or weapons or anything should be used in America for our citizens, not for the citizens or for the liberation or whatever excuse they want to put on it to make it seem like if we're liberating people, and when in reality that's never the case. And America needs to step back.
Yeah, we need to
I can't
liberate.
argue with that.
We need to liberate ourselves from this invasion that took place in the past 4 years.
Yep.
We have to get
Um,
rid of this invasion.
yeah, exactly. This
Can I say something,
never-ending
Melissa?
invasion. Go ahead.
Yeah, and we just have to be aware of this, how deep this deep state and stuff that controls our whole government. Because, for example, we came from the Jehovah's Witnesses, and they will control not very small people, like let's say in the thousands, but we know, I mean, at least the witnesses claim they have 9 million members, but it has to be more than that are controlled by them, because there's at least 20 million people that go to the memorial and stuff. So there's children, people that are, you know, associated with the witnesses that believe in it, that are controlled by their beliefs. So what you can say is that them is a global worldwide network. You know, there's 9+ million witnesses that are controlled by them. That's a lot bigger than some even European nations. So you can kind of say that the witnesses are kind of their own country in themselves, and they are controlled by the deep state and the government. And just like a country, and I consider witnesses, they are like a country. They have a governance and stuff, because if one rule changes, just like a country or a law changes, globally, all the witnesses will just obey that. Correct?
Exactly, and they
So
will
they
believe
kind of
whatever
they kind
said.
of operate just like a country, and except they're a theocracy, just like Iran is.
Yes.
So they have their supreme leaders, which are the 11 governing body members. But don't mistake them or the Mormon Church or other people. They are pretty much like their own countries. They're just disguised as religions, but they still operate the same as countries that the deep state is using.
Good point.
And they'll mask stuff. And whatever these people say, people overnight will believe it. Like, we know what the governing body says. Same with the apostles and the prophets of the Mormon Church and the SDA. So they're in control of all these other outer societies, but you got to see that they operate the same way. It's just set up exactly like a country.
And that's
They
the
have a
problem. Why
leader,
would we?
they have
So I
laws, and
disagree
people
with
have to obey it. And citizens, like if you're a JW and you'll disobey the laws, what happens if you're in a regular society and you disobey the law? Well, you can get a ticket, a fine, which is probably being like privately reproved, or you can go to jail, which is being disfellowshipped, or some countries even require the death sentence, which is the same as being disfellowshipped.
Yeah, no, sorry to interrupt you, but
And
that's
you can
exactly the
appeal.
problem. That's the problem, is that we know this of them, and yet we allow them in America. What sense does that make when we know that that's how they think, that's their culture, and that's just how their brain is wired? Why would you allow them in your country? And we talk so much about national security, or the presidents do, or governments do, but then they will allow the very people who we know that they are like this into our country, and then when a terrorist attack happens, oops. Like, no, that's not an accident or a coincidence to me. So I wouldn't allow them in our country at all.
Yeah, so the Jehovah's Witnesses, to make my very final point of the night, the Jehovah's Witnesses are run by the deep state also. They're just a smaller country of probably 9 to 20 people that they can control. They have their own laws, their own governance, just like other countries. if you disobey their laws, they have punishments. They can even lose your family and go to prison. Just like if you go to literally physically behind bars, well, you don't have to go behind bars, but your family will shun you, which is the same way. So they do have that kind of power. So don't just think that it's just in regular government with all these proxies. They have all these proxies of religions too.
JP, I
But
want
I
to
don't
say,
know at this point, guys, I don't trust shit except like probably you guys and a few other people in my neighborhood and few people I work with. It's getting kind of sketchy out there now. And with this technology stuff, it's getting even more worrisome. But I don't really have much more to say. I just wanted to bring those points out. But I hope everybody has a good night and you guys take care.
Thank you. Can I make a personal comment?
Yeah, and then I got to say something to JP real quick.
All right, I'll try and be as quick as I can.
You're fine.
I'm a Vietnam generation. My deceased husband was a Vietnam vet. He died from Agent Orange. My brother was deployed twice. He was a chief petty officer in the Navy. And the difference between when they came home and the World War II soldiers was very extreme. The World War II soldiers were cheered on as heroes, and patriotism was at its all-time high. When my deceased husband came home, he was spit at. He was called all kinds of filthy names, and both my brother and him threw away all their medals. And I was not allowed to talk about the Vietnam War at all. He didn't want to discuss it with me, period. He hated the government, and my brother feels the same way about the government. What they went through, I hope nobody ever experiences that. I hate war because of it. I hate what war does, and I hate what it does to countries, and I hate what it does to families. So, I mean, I don't know what the patriotism is today, patriotism today, but when I was growing up, I had a fight against a lot of people because I was sticking up for the Vietnam War, which was a mistake because I was trying to be loyal to my brother and my husband. But unfortunately, it did divide our country in a sad way. But the government was horrible in that, too. They really were. I don't trust the government. They do nothing but lie to us. And I just hope and pray. I do pray for Trump and that peace will come about. But there's some bad characters out there that don't want peace. And thank you for giving me the floor.
Two things I want to share real quick as far as Gigi is concerned. Thank you for your family service in the military. That's and I mean that.
Thank you.
As far as the military personnel are concerned coming home from Vietnam, I think those were probably the first generation of soldiers that actually woke up to what was happening with our military and our government. I think they were the first ones to wake up to everything because they tried to say stuff. And like she said, when they came home, they were spit on, they were degraded. And yeah, so there's that. Second point I want to make, going back to JP, I really appreciate him bringing out the fact that Watchtower is nothing but the deep state operation part of it. Because when I came out in March of 2020 and said the same daggone thing he just said, I was severely attacked and mischaracterized for even mentioning that.
Wow.
And so it's nice to see now that other folks are starting to see the similarities, the way the Watchtower operates with the way the deep state operates. They are the same.
Yes, they are.
Once you get out of the small little cult, you're in a big one. As soon as you realize it, it just takes some knowledge and understanding. What you see in Watchtower is just the small microcosm of what's happening in the world.
Yep.
Exactly. Really quickly, just to catch up on the comments. Julian is asking Jimmy, can you speculate to what Trump may or may not do? I guess he's in reference to like Israel and Iran.
Okay, if I had to speculate, I think Trump is going to say some things and maybe do a couple things. I don't know, maybe just say things. and probably expose some more people. I think that'll happen. I think some true colors will be shown. And we've already seen a little bit of that happening, but I think that will ramp up. I do think that he will try to find a way to have some deal. And I don't think it will be a deal with the deep state operatives. I think it will be with individuals behind the scenes that we may not know right now. And the only reason I say that is because he made a deal with Saudi Arabia back in 2017 after Las Vegas shooting that the public did not know about.
And just recently, and then his visit to the Middle East.
Yes. The deal, we don't know publicly yet what kind of deals were made. I mean, you got Jordan shooting down Iranian missiles. Okay. Jordan, they praised Trump when he came there. So this is the question to ask. Are the Jordanians helping Trump by shooting down deep state missiles coming from Iran?
Okay, good point.
Is that a possibility?
Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah, I can see that happening. Yeah.
So, and he put out a post, or somebody put out a post. Go to my X feed, Ruby, please. There's a reason why.
Okay, let's find you.
And I say this, and when I say, I think there might be some deals being made behind the scenes we don't know about. The reason I say that is because of this post I put up.
All right, so here goes your page.
It should be, because that's the immigrant one. Okay, I did that. It says something about the Prince of Iran.
The Prince of Iran.
It had to be here recently too.
Yeah. He just said he's willing to go back and start.
I think it's further up, Ruby. I just posted it tonight. I'm pretty sure I put it on X.
Hey, Jimmy, why did they change the name from Persia to Iran? Do you know the answer to that?
I do not know the answer to that. What's that say right there? What do those first two say?
I told you the deep state and exposure phase. I told you every snake.
that right there. Read that one.
Well,
I told you.
Well, to answer what Iran, why they changed Persia to Iran, it's because they are the true Aryans.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know. I had to look it up.
Okay, so I'll read this post really quickly. It says, I told you we were deep in exposure phase. I told you every snake will be revealed. Now I'm telling you that soon the Iranian crown prince will return to become king of Iran, all thanks to Israel. Biblical. You are witnessing history. And what will surprise you even more? There will be peace between Israel and Iran, Israel and all Arab states. That's what's coming. Trump already told you his legacy will be peacemaker. All who are turning your backs on him have shown your faces. You failed to see the bigger plan. You failed to see God. God moves you. Failed to fool the forces of light.
So that's why I say I think there's deals being made, because why would that information come out right now? Why would that even be talked about?
Yeah.
So I think it's prepping, like those of us that are deep into this stuff, that when that happens and that pops off, we won't be surprised. Kind of like the fact that we were told that the stuff in Iran and saving Israel for last, we already knew this stuff was going to pop off.
Okay,
we didn't know when.
Okay, well, I will admit that I did not, and I don't know about those inner conversations that people have, like the way Jimmy does, like his connections, his online stuff. All I'm seeing is what Trump is saying as an outsider and as somebody very new to politics. And what I'm seeing, I don't like, because the vibe I'm getting is that he is pro-Israel, and that's where I kind of disagree, because I'm anti-Israel. So
there's nothing wrong with that.
Okay, so that's the only
He's also pro Saudi Arabia and all those other countries.
None of them. I'm zero like I've said this before. I'm like an isolationist. I only believe in America and America first policies and agendas. If it's any other country, I'm not listening. My ears closed, and I don't care. We need to fix America first. So when I see my president, I don't care who he is, talking or getting involved into other countries and their wars, I'm an absolute no. Like, I do not care. That there is no like zero tolerance for me. I have a zero tolerance policy. So that's the reason why a red flag for me is coming with Trump, because I was expecting him to say what Vance said about the whole, when India and Pakistan were getting into it. Vance, he said it right. He was like, that has nothing to do with us. And I was expecting that from Trump with this situation, and I didn't get that. So that was a letdown. That was a disappointment as an outsider.
Trump is going to send Vance over there to negotiate.
Good.
As we speak, he's on his way right now.
Well, here's the other thing I was thinking too. Maybe folks are feeling like Ruby right now, and that's fine. Maybe this is for the everyday folk looking at news or whatever.
Right.
Maybe this is getting their attention, so that when he turns around and signs this peace deal with Israel and Iran, let's say if that does happen, you're going to be applauding the crap out of the guy.
And I really do hope so. And I'm just going through the motions live with you guys. That's where I'm at right now. And I do know people feel like that, because I'm on X. I'm sharing the same kind of posts that they're sharing.
I see it.
Yeah. You see me. So that's where I'm at right now. Okay. I just want to catch up with the chat before we move on.
Okay.
JG says, Jimmy, do you think that the two recent anti-Semitic events, Colorado and DC, were planned to create pro-Israel feelings?
Probably, more than likely.
Yeah, that's what they said.
Yeah. I agree. Yes.
All right. I'm scrolling down. I just want to get everybody before I move on.
And I just want to add, Iran's a different animal than India. That problem. This is a way different animal. This is nuclear warfare we're talking.
This goes back to Uranium One and Hillary Clinton and all. I'm telling y'all, it goes deeper, way deeper. So that power, the cash, and it actually has something to do with Bin Laden too.
Yep. And Trump has a responsibility to this country to keep us safe. Bottom line.
Let's just say that there's a country out there that knows the truth about Bin Laden, and certain individuals may not want that to go public.
What, that he's alive and well and kicking?
I'm not going to say anything else.
But I heard that today.
We can talk about that personally, but
okay.
Let's just say
I'll talk offline with you.
Let's just say there's some countries out there that know the truth about Bin Laden.
Yeah, but you see, this is why it's good to have different generations on the panel here speaking the truth about these politics, because I just saw this comment. Where is it? Dang it. I just saw this comment from Jane, I believe. What did Jane say?
Someone's dead now.
She said, oh, right here. She said, Ruby says she's zero on accepting. Okay, now let's think about this. Put yourself in my shoes. I am of the 9/11 generation, where they basically told us they are our enemy. I don't care what country you come from. It was a stereotype. It was a profiling. So we grew up with that. So that's why it's good to have different generations on here, because now you're talking to the generation, and when we look at that side of the world, do you think we care about that? No, because we literally grew up with believing that everybody who looks this way or comes from this part of the world is a terrorist. So when we're looking at politics, yes, I'm sure that some of these things I say now, I will change my stance later on. That's always going to happen. More information will come into play. But this is the generation who you're talking to. And there's thousands of people just like me. There's millions of young adults just like me who are going to be on the same boat when it comes to politics. And we're the new people who are voting here. We are no longer thinking in terms of all those lies when they told us about Afghanistan or Iraq or any other of those countries. We're done with that. And I don't want those types of people in my country.
So would you say you were indoctrinated to feel that way about the other side of the world?
Yes, brainwashed. Not, I mean,
Yeah.
I wouldn't even say indoctrinated. It was a brainwashing. When you're watching your TV, you see those buildings go down. That was the biggest thing in our lives to witness. And what we put a label on who is the enemy, who are the good guys, who are the bad guys.
Yep,
And then
they
now,
did.
20 years later, you think I want my country helping in any one of those Middle Eastern countries? Absolutely not.
Ruby, they did it with us in Gen X. When
Exactly.
we were growing up, it was the Russians. We had Red Dawn, the movie.
Hey, we had
Exactly.
fallout shelters in the 50s.
Yeah, it was the Russians.
True.
So they always have to have a bad guy out there.
Right.
This is this is their whole system of how they operate and manipulate the masses.
Right. So I wouldn't even expect your generation to think highly of Russia or any other country of a generation where you grew up, that your country is telling you they're the bad guys. So
Yeah, until we learn the truth about it.
Yeah, we were
exactly. But you know how I save myself a lot of time is when I'm zero tolerance. I don't care what country, I don't care who they say is the bad guy or the good guy. I don't care. I only worry about my borders, and I am not going to worry about who's the bad guy or who's the good guy all the way over there where I've never been. I can't even see the horizons of their borders. So why does it matter to me?
Well, it will be when they start bombing our country. we don't even know what it's like until it happens in our country. Everyone will be singing a different tune then.
Yeah, it is our problem because,
and it's a highly likely probability.
Because again, we go back to the elite globalist New World Order. That's what they wanted, a New World Order. And how you going to do that? You got to get every country you can involved in it.
Yeah, exactly. Which is why we shouldn't.
Exactly.
And the very threat that they're trying to make as if they can reach us, that's the main issue. It's like, why is that even a thing? No, it shouldn't even be a thing. We should not be involved in anybody else's problems where they feel as if we're the bad guys in their media, in to their young people. You know what I'm saying? It's like they're pitting us against one another, because when we should just be focused on our own country.
Divide and conquer. That's what divide the people in general, humanity.
Joseph was going to say something.
Go ahead, Joseph.
Well, we have 145 different countries of illegal immigrants in our country.
Wow.
Haven't been vetted, and we don't know what their intentions are.
Mm-hmm.
And they could be secret cells.
Yep.
Ready for war. We see that in Train de Agua and MS-13 type characters, but we may have some Iranian terrorists over here.
Already here. Yeah.
You know what, Joseph? You said something that sparked my brain again. Going back to these No Kings protests, could that have been a dry run to see how the police would react, if Trump would react or not, so that when they activate their sleeper cells to cause the real riots that will happen, because the No Kings protest thing, there wasn't a lot. There's some burning and looting in Los Angeles, but it didn't happen all over the place. Was this a dry run for the deep state to iron out their plans to activate those sleeper cells in those cities? Could it be? It's possible.
Could be. You had not only the illegals waving the Mexican flag, but you also had Antifa involved in all of this.
Yeah. You know what? Now that that actually makes sense to me that it was a dry run.
Yeah.
That actually speaks to me.
Yeah, good point, Jimmy. So there's two more points that I wanted to make really quickly about why I'm pausing for Trump, and it literally just started raining in Florida, so it might get glitchy, and my head is pounding like crazy because the weather also gives me migraines.
Yeah.
So I'm
Me
gonna wrap it up
too.
soon.
I have the same problem.
Barometric
okay.
pressure.
So
That's what it is? Huh.
so here's the next problem for me. Trump recently said this. I'll play the clip, and this is what I'm the next disappointment.
Okay.
In favor of, look, I've always been in favor of students coming in from other countries. That includes China. And we have 500,000 Chinese students coming in. I've always been in favor of it. Does it mean that you have to watch people? Yeah, you have to watch students, but you have to watch other people also. I've always been strongly in favor of it. I think it's a great thing. It's good for our schools. I think it's good for our country. I'm also in favor of having them stay. I've been in favor of letting them stay. If you get educated for 4 years, you're willing to get educated for 4 years. I like people being able to stay. You know, they have some great students. You have some.
Okay, so if you couldn't really hear that, Trump said that we have over 500,000 Chinese students coming in. He says, I've always been in favor. I'm in favor of having them stay. He says, if you're willing to get educated for 4 years, he is in favor of having them stay. And he says he's always been in favor. I'm sorry, but this is the first I'm hearing of it. So this kind of like threw me for a loop when Trump said that.
Well, usually when a Chinese student comes here, he comes here not just to get a BS or a BA. He's there for to get a master's and a doctorate degree. That's what he's for. Now,
okay,
that intelligence and that expertise, Donald Trump would like to have that stay here in this country.
Mm-hmm.
If they are willing to, possibly become American citizens someday. But he would hate to see us educate the world and we don't benefit from it.
Exactly. And I think that's exactly what's going to happen. They're going to get educated and they're going to either leave and go back to their country, or they're going to stay, and the inevitable is they bring their families over here too. So so here's my issue with that is first of all, China is not our friends, let alone ally. Sorry. So that's like a number one. Number two, did we not just see that Chinese spy or whoever she was try to come over here with that mushroom?
Yeah,
whatever.
Yeah,
in Michigan.
Exactly. So issue number three, they're communist. So that right there is like, no. And then go ahead, Jimmy. I see you're gonna say something.
Go ahead with number 4. Go ahead. Remember your numbers too, because I got counterpoints for you.
Are you quizzing us?
Oh my God, my head hurts so much.
I'm so sorry, Ruby.
Okay, I'll try not to laugh. Oh. Okay.
What was your number 4?
Yeah, what was my number 4?
I don't know.
Oh, number 4, 500,000. Just think about that. 500,000.
That's 500,000. Yeah.
500,000 of those proposed students. That would take away 500,000 opportunities for American students if it would be taken, because it is now being given or taken by a Chinese student. So that right there, it goes against America First values. And then my number 5 would be that's an easy access to residency, because they're going to come over here with a student visa or whatever, and then they're going to become residents, and then in the future become citizens. That's not what we wanted. That's not why, like the America First agenda was complete deportations. Like, and again, I do know that that's more for illegals, but y'all already know how I feel. I really don't care if you legal or illegal. My thing is that you are taking opportunities away from American young people, American students. That's 500,000 seats that you're taking away from Americans. So there you go. Those are my 5 points. Go ahead, Jimmy.
Okay, so
I want to say this. You're gonna hate my comment.
actually, Gigi, go ahead. Go ahead, then I'll give you mine.
I worked in an international company. I'm sorry. A lot of American, and please don't hate me for this one. A lot of Americans are stupid, and the Asian population, as we well know, are highly intelligent, and if there's certain positions that they can fill, because we have a lot of dummies in this country, and we imported a lot of Asians and people from India because they had the know-how, the knowledge, and the smarts to help the international company I worked for. It was a government company, by the way. So I think Trump is looking at the business aspect of this and
Of course.
making it prosperous for our country. Let's face it, there's a lot of Asian. They're way ahead of American children. We all know that's a fact that's been true for years. And I'm not putting down the American children, but it's true. I have dumb grandchildren. So.
This is why we call the show the Unrelenting Political Corner, because Gigi, as you know, unpopular as that comment would have been for some, she nailed it right on the head. That is the case. But we're also a product. The intellectual or unintellectual Americans we have is a product of their system. They wanted to dumb us down anyway.
Well, they did.
Yeah, exactly. It's manufactured.
So there's that. All right.
That's been happening since the mid '60s. The education system.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Each year has been lowered. The standard's been lowered, and then you have the teachers union. It became more socialistic and in changing the way they teach.
Oh yeah,
and it's dumbed down the kids today. The kids today.
It has. It really has.
You know, a lot of them don't even know how to read.
Did you ever watch Jay Leno's Jaywalkers? All the college students you'd ask.
Yes, we've seen that. Hang on, before we get off track, let me talk about what Ruby said about this whole Chinese thing.
Yes.
So, knowing Ruby's stance of zero immigration, I can see where she's coming from. I can see that. Okay, and I can respect that. In my view, I'm kind of with Joseph and Gigi on the fact that if we are educating people from another country, not just China, you know, there's also people from other countries here. If they're willing to be educated here and they are upstanding individuals, because not all Chinese people that are in the institutions are communist puppets of the CCP. All right. There is some here. I'm not going to lie. That's why Trump said, well, some may need to be watched, or whatever he said to that effect. That's what he was talking about there, that we need to watch and see which ones may be the sleepers, like Joseph referred to, because we do know that that does exist. Outside of those people, if you are a legit good person and you want to be educated in this country to be prosperous in this country, or open up a doctor's office or become whatever, then you should, I do believe, have the ability to have a right to citizenship if you do it legally, if that's what you want to do, and become a legal immigrant to this country. So to keep that education in America so that we can prosper off of that.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm a
I know how you are.
hardcore no on that.
Ruby, before 1965, we had immigration quotas.
Yes.
After 1965, they were done away with.
Yep.
So if Trump says we're going to have 500 thousand Chinese students in our universities. It's open door policy. It's legal immigration to this country to be educated. They have a student visa. They can go to college.
Yeah, yeah. To me, that's just an excuse to come over here. So I am not in support of that. So when Trump said that, that was the biggest upset and letdown. That is not an America First principle or value, or that is not something that I heard of Trump on the campaign run. If I would have heard that, I would have never voted for a stance like that. Um,
Well, he's always was for legal immigration.
Yeah, he's always said that.
okay,
Yeah.
good point. Good point. And even back then, I still disagreed with that as well. But to especially the Chinese, I'm sorry, but no, like they are legit against us. And I know you wanna.
In other words, you want a closed door policy.
Oh yeah,
Absolutely, absolutely. Like
Yeah,
deadbolt closed.
why?
that's where me and Ruby. That's where we disagree on.
No. Why? What about Cuba? How come Cubans can't come over here and we
Yep,
can't go over there?
exactly. That's another one. And listen, I'm
So,
telling you,
what's
it's an
the
issue.
disparity between Cuba and communist China?
Exactly. I would say no to that as well. They need to fix their own system. They need to fix their government. If they don't like it, then fix it. Do we maybe I would be in support of true asylum seekers for certain groups of people that come from countries where they can't, survive at all, like an extreme case like that. But these are the countries that are trying to come in here. They have a great country. I mean, China looks great for the Chinese. You know what I'm saying? Like, stay in your country, go to your own colleges. And why are you coming over here for? You're taking opportunities and jobs away from us. Once again, legal or illegal, you're taking opportunities from Americans. So and that's just my stance. So that was one issue. The second issue was what Trump said recently about the crackdown of migrants, farmers, and hotel workers. So I'm just reading really quickly article, USA Today. The title says Trump. Let me just share this with you really quickly. Trump vows changes to immigration crackdown to protect migrant farmers and hotel workers. So it says that he plans to make changes to his administration's aggressive crackdown on illegal immigration to protect migrant farmers, hotel workers, and others in the leisure industry who have been among those deported. So, I'm not going to go into all the details, but just that alone, when he was talking about how we want to not crack down on the farmers because we
When
need
did that
them.
come out?
This article was posted June 12th, 2025, and I think
Okay.
Trump posted that on Truth Social June 12th.
Okay. I think within like a day or two later,
Uh-huh.
they reneged on that and said, no, we're going to keep things as usual.
Okay, that's great, because when I saw this,
I think I saw that they he wasn't going to, he's like, yeah, if they're legal, we'll go after them.
Yeah. He's going after.
I think he changed that like a couple days later, Ruby.
He's going after any illegal, whether they're criminals or not.
Okay, great. Because I saw that and I didn't see the update. So I was still thinking his stance kind of.
Well, he was answering, someone, someone, somebody in the news.
Right.
So he was just being interviewed, and he probably misspoke, and they took it to another level.
Well,
But
yeah, it was something that he posted on Truth Social. So
Well, he wanted to. He didn't want to hurt the farmers who use Mexican labor.
Mm-hmm.
and he was. Why don't they have some type of legislation where they could come and work here legally for like the season, and they go back home, and then they could come back again, renew that work visa, and that way
Yeah.
the farmers will not be hurt. They can have the same workers all the time who know the operation, who know the farmer, and he knows them on a personal basis.
I mean, yeah, that's a no go for me too. I'm completely against any ideas or solutions when it comes to something like this. So when I saw Trump say that, that was like the last straw.
Hey,
It was
Ruby,
just too much. Yeah.
Ruby, if I ever ran for president, I'm going to put you in charge of the border. And then I ain't got to worry about nothing.
Everyone will be thrown
Well,
out.
all these people on welfare, do you think they would do this work that the Mexicans are doing?
Oh, God,
Yes.
no.
What?
They're no. What he said. Do you think a lot of these people that are on welfare or whatever would do the work that these migrants are
Yes.
doing? The answer is no. I've seen
Yes.
too many videos out there where people are like, "That's not my job. I ain't doing that." Oh my God.
No,
Yeah.
I get that, but if you don't want to have the job that the government gives you because you're on welfare, then you get taken off welfare. It's very simple.
Yeah.
Well,
I mean,
And welfare should be only given to American
that's what's in
citizens.
the big beautiful bill is to get these people to work.
yeah, because there's people
No,
out
yeah.
there abusing the system. And they talk about no kings. Well, you just made the government your king because they tell you how much money they're going to give you. They tell you where you can live. They tell you what kind of cheese you can buy. You know,
Okay, but that's the difference though. If you're gonna go on welfare, if you're going to make use of this, then you have to follow the rules. That's
yes,
how it works.
I agree, but there's people abusing that system.
There always has been.
Yes.
Yeah, for decades. For decades.
Yes.
The
Yes.
same family for decades. The whole generation of family has been on welfare.
Yeah, exactly. The reforms do need to happen, but even in the welfare system, and that's a state's issue. Why are they giving it to non-citizens? That's another problem. So the resources are being
Well, that's
exhausted.
the Biden administration did that.
Yeah, but it's a states thing. It's a states issue.
Yes, it is.
They should control that.
They should, but they don't because they're not part of that. They don't want that to happen, Ruby.
Exactly. So the system is very, very broken. And that's what I'm saying. It should only be for American citizens. And if we start
Correct.
focusing on that, then we could figure out other issues. But right now it is not set up for the American to take advantage of or to use or whatever. So right now we're just bleeding. You know what I'm saying? We're just bleeding
Yep.
resources right now. Just want to welcome really quickly Linda James to the stage. I want to give her at least a 3-minute comment, and then I'm going to start wrapping stuff up.
Okay.
So go ahead,
Hello.
Linda.
So I just want to touch on a few things that you were talking about, Ruby. You were talking about America first, and we need to get our stuff taken care of before we assist other countries. And I just wanted to let you know that from what I've come to know, we have certain allies that if we help them, it makes it to where people that we don't want to get closer to us, it helps us too, so they don't get closer to finally take over parts of America. Like that's kind of part of, like with Ukraine, stuff like that. So it's kind of a protection for us as well. And everybody on this panel, I mean, we all have immigration roots. I mean, that's what our ancestry is. We're here because somebody in our ancestry, unless we're Native America, came here from elsewhere. So I like to have room for that. You know, that's just the way I think. And I don't remember the other one. I don't know. I don't remember it. I'm sorry. Yeah, those 2 points for now.
Okay.
No, yeah, that's a great point. But that's what I'm saying. Like in this era, in this modern age, with the deep state that we kind of got, I don't trust any country or any group of people, student or not a student, legal or illegal. We gotta fix in-house first.
I can't argue with. I mean, I understand where Ruby's stance is. She wants to clean her house before we invite guests over, and then there's some of us that we have a guest coming over. We're going to ask them to help us clean the house before everybody else gets here. You know.
Yeah.
Allies, my point is, allies are important. It's good to have allies in real life, like just allies for things that we might be for, certain causes, or just knowing our neighbors and stuff, to have an eye out for each other. And
yeah, I don't have a problem. I don't have a problem with that.
As far as a country, that's kind of going on too. I mean, I would like that to go on.
Correct. I don't have a problem with that.
I do. I'm a no-go on that either, because as much as Jimmy always laughs when I disagree with something, but it's
I can't
true.
help it. It's okay.
Let me
put it this way, Ruby. And one of the things a cult does is isolate us to where we don't receive any information or any other resources from any place else but them. And that would be a shame in my mind if that would leave us to be only getting things from ourselves. I like that's been a thing around the world, being able to trade and receive and, you know, benefit from other countries. That kind of makes the world go round, and it's been a thing for years.
Yeah, I'm all about nationalism and protecting America and all that, but I'm also open to humanity as a whole. So, because if we didn't have this deep state apparatus all over the world, imagine how much we can learn from another country or another group of people. You know,
we have warnings now. We have warnings in other countries that are saying, "Do not come here. It is dangerous."
Yeah, So
I don't recall ever hearing that.
I look at, for me personally, I look at more of a human aspect of things. I don't think an American citizen is way better than a dude from Russia or Ukraine. I don't believe that. I believe in humanity. That's what I look at.
I could agree with that, but I'm not against doing business. We can do business, but thinking that other countries are like for our benefit or to our advantage, no, I don't even trust my own government. What makes you think I'm gonna trust another government who wants to portray themselves as our friends? Absolutely not. And in history, America has not been a good ally to other countries, so why would they trust us now?
I don't know right about this, but I thought we stepped in just before Hitler, like things. That shit hit the fan. I thought we stepped in last minute and kind of helped things out over there. Did we not? I don't know what that was called.
That's a whole nother conversation, Linda.
I thought we were talking about helping other countries. I think it's the same.
Yeah, I get the concept, but that's a whole nother story there. Wow, that all happened.
Whatever.
Right. They wanted to make it
talking about helping other countries, and I thought I was talking about helping other countries. Evidently, it's not. So. Whatever.
In a sense, we were helping other countries, but why were we helping them? Okay, so that's why I said what I said on that. We also come from the generation, Ruby, to where we heard the song "We Are the World." Have you ever heard that song before?
We are the world.
Yeah, that's bootleg. That's propaganda, in my opinion, because we are not.
Oh my God.
I'm sorry. I'm being completely honest.
I can't 100% disagree that it wasn't propaganda, but that's kind of where I would like to see the whole world elevate themselves and be better than what we are right now.
Yeah, that does make sense.
Well, isn't that what the peace was set up for?
I'm
Do
sorry,
what?
what did you?
Isn't that what the Peace Corps set up for us to go over and help those those that need help and medicine and food?
Yeah,
I'm,
didn't JFK create that?
I'm all for that, helping other countries that need help.
Didn't JFK create the Peace Corps?
I believe he did, yes.
Thought so.
Yes, he did. Yes, he
Okay.
did. Yeah.
Yeah, so
Just wanted to bring out those points. I think it's dangerous for us to isolate ourselves, and that's what it's looking like to me. And maybe I'm way off, but I struggle with needing other people because you know what? I grew up a Jehovah's frickin' Witness, and I have trust issues, big time.
Yeah.
So
we get it.
I
We
kinda
get it.
you, Ruby. I do
We
hear
get
you,
it.
and I do get you. So it's a challenge for me to even have friends and realize how much I need people in my life. Like, to me, needing them makes me super vulnerable, and I just,
Ruby,
it's
have you
been-
ever have you ever traveled outside the United States?
to Puerto Rico.
But you've never been to any other continent?
It's part of the United
No,
States.
and I don't think I ever will. I already made that vow to myself. I would never leave.
So one thing that I can take away from my JW upbringing was I did like the fact that it was worldwide. I felt like a worldwide brotherhood, humanity. I did like that.
Me
Okay,
too.
so I had no problem with that because when I was younger and we went to Japan, it was really cool going to a Japanese convention and you'd have the English, we'd have our own section because we'd have to have translation. But in our group there was a dude from Iraq and there was a dude from Iran. And at the time, that's when Iraq and Iran were fighting. But you had these two guys that were cool with each other. I thought that was kind of cool back then. Another thing is I have traveled a lot. I've been to other countries. I've seen the side of other countries that you don't see in the media.
Mm-hmm.
And so I loved it when I went to Israel and visited there. I loved it when I went to Japan and some other places because I got to learn their culture. And some of it's pretty cool. I mean, so
I've never had the privilege to do that. That's pretty awesome, Jimmy.
Thank you. I believe isolation is not good. I think we need to rise above that a little bit. Yes, we need to clean our stuff up. Yes, that's got to be taken care of. Nobody coming in right now until we get some crap figured out. But I don't believe in isolation. I believe as a whole, humanity, we can be better.
Yeah, and I'm not talking socially. I'm talking politically. In this political scene right now, I'm like zero tolerance.
I get that.
Yeah, and you know what? Maybe if the deep state didn't exist, that would be more probable in my brain. But right now, the way things are set up, I would disagree with it because I can't trust who's with me or who's against me, who's an American, who's not an American.
I completely understand where you're coming from.
Yeah, so that all might be true, but in reality, we are not friends. We are not of the same nationality. We are not of the same ethnicity.
None of us on this panel is of the same nationality.
No,
and here
exactly.
we are actually getting along. And I'm like on the left and some of you are on the right. Oh, that's right. It's political, not socially.
But that's socially, right? Socially, I'm okay with that. But when it comes to political things, absolutely not. When we have psyops, when we have false flags, when we have people that infiltrate our government, we have spies all over the place. You can't trust nobody. Not even our own congressman, not even our own president. You can't even trust that.
Look at the CIA. Yeah.
Exactly. You see, if those things didn't exist, if all those things were abolished, I would be all for it. But right now, nope. I can't. It is what it is. Yeah, I'm not trying to convince nobody. I'm just saying it is what it is.
I just
and
wanted
that's
to
just
share
how
my
I
thoughts.
feel.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Go ahead,
so
I have trust issues too, but that's what I wanted to share.
Yeah.
Thank you, Linda.
Yeah,
Sure.
thank you. Thank you for joining, to Linda, to Gigi, to Joseph, to
You're welcome. Thank you.
Gilbert, and to Jesse for joining. And I see all of your comments, but I have a real bad migraine, and it's raining cats and dogs outside right now, so I feel nauseous. Like the migraine is making me want to throw up. But I'm gonna go
might
lay
have
down.
your electrolytes off. Like you might want to drink something with electrolytes, because if you've been drinking diuretics, anything with caffeine, you might have lost your electrolytes and you might need to replace them.
Yeah.
Oh
That might
yeah.
help with your
She's
headache.
correct. You're correct, Linda.
Yeah.
Oh, good point. Good point. Yeah, I feel sick, like dizzy, like I
That's
don't feel good
mother
at
in
all.
me.
Don't do Gatorade. Don't do Gatorade.
Why? I just drank some yesterday.
Gatorade is bad for you.
Why?
Really?
Yes, go look it up, y'all. It's bad for you. I used to drink Gatorade all the time until I've learned about Gatorade, and now I order from Ultima, ULTIMA. I order my hydration drinks from that company, and actually
But what can I get at the corner store? Do they sell it at the corner
Vitamin
store?
C packets.
go
Those
look.
emergency C
Go
packets
look for
have
well,
electrolytes in them.
well, make sure it's real vitamin C pack. Make sure it's real vitamin C, not the fake crap.
I use generic all the time, but okay.
But
It replaces your electrolytes. I'll be quiet.
in the grocery store, you just ask the clerk, "Hey, where are the packets for the hydration stuff I can put in my bottled water?" So you can go to that section, and you got to look for the ones that don't have any sugar in it.
Okay.
Okay, yeah, because I drank a Red Bull and I know that has a lot of caffeine.
Well,
in
Oh
it.
my God, those are horrible for you, Ruby.
Don't think those, please.
I know.
I get
All right.
it easy because I'm a diabetic. What was that again, Jimmy?
Ultima, ULTIMA. Great stuff.
All right, I'm gonna have to see.
Okay.
If
maybe
the rain dies down, I might
Maybe
go out.
even if you have Pedialyte at the house, maybe.
There's that too.
Okay,
Yeah.
I'll see if I could get that. All right, guys. So I'm gonna
Good
go
night,
rest.
everybody. Good
And
night. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much, everybody, for joining. See you guys.
See y'all next week, everybody.
Yeah, next Tuesday, 9 p.m. There was a lot of stuff that we didn't talk about tonight.
Yep.
So we need to bring up a lot of more.
There'll be more
information.
next week.
Yeah, definitely. All right,
And
bye, guys.
Bye, everybody.
Trump, yeah, okay, bury him a legend, yeah, Trump, hey, okay, America's biggest blessing, free speech advocate, packing, never lacking it, I just bought another gun and ain't nobody taking it, gang, okay, the White House going crazy now, MAGA season, tell them liberals they can't break us down, it's up, they know we run it, best believe it now, about to paint the city red, please don't burn it down.